Hello, welcome to the Mature Topics Podcast, episode 12. Tonight we have an excellent show planned for you guys. Um, like each and every week, this is the open panel discussion. The link to join the panel, this time I'm on point. I do have it in the description early. So, welcome to the Mature Topics Podcast. If this is your first time here, this is a podcast where we can have real, adult, mature conversation. And the dialogues range from a number of topics. We primarily focus on relationship topics, but we do open it up to talk about different things. Like last week, we talked about the pastor in Brooklyn who was robbed at gunpoint while in church on the pulpit. So this is the place to be if you want to have real adult grown conversations. Like I said, this is an open panel discussion. Now, some ground rules. If you do want to join the panel, first time guests definitely gonna have to flash your camera so we can make sure you're not a troll. The trolls are going crazy on social media nowadays, so we got to make sure that you're not a troll. But we are more than welcome to come. And please make sure you have a clear mic, no background noise. We want to make sure that we have a nice solid production show from a production standpoint, right? So and tonight, if you're early in the building, um, congrats on joining us. Because tonight we're celebrating our 100th video. Now I know we passed the mark, but that's a big milestone that I don't want to overlook. So salute to everyone who's been supporting the show, all the people that's been on the panelists week after week. We definitely appreciate it over here. If you just joined the stream, definitely feel free to click that link, open panel discussion, or you could leave a comment in the comments box. We can communicate that way as well. So another thing I want to shout out, and we shout this out every week, is definitely join the Facebook family. We have a Mature Topics podcast Facebook group that's growing, and it's a nice community. We take some of the topics from there. We'll discuss them in the group to try to see it with how the people feel. It's a great place to connect. People make connections, good friendships, and stuff like that. But yeah, join the Facebook group, the Mature Topics Facebook group. The link is in the description of the video, right? Okay, so now that we got that out the way, let's talk about how you can support. So if you want to see the Mature Topics podcast grow, feel free. We have the Cash App on the bottom right corner of the screen, Koron Pierre, $ Koron Pierre. We also got the PayPal link in the description if you're not a fan of Cash App. I know not everybody is a fan of Cash App. And also we also have an Amazon affiliate link as well. You can get these all in the description of the video. All that information is there. So salute to all the people that's joined. I see the chat is growing. I want to give people the opportunity, to come on the show because tonight we got an amazing topic. You know what? How about we do this before we get started? While I do my intro, I want to get some more viewership on some of the previous videos. I don't know what happened to this video. I'm gonna play this little clip here. So this is the trailer. This is from episode 8. Is when me and Trav had a little back and forth. Let's get into it. Check it
So
out.
what are you trying to say, sir? Get on the panel, man.
But if somebody's willing to wait till marriage, I'm pretty sure it's less likely you'll get BS than you would just casually having sex.
I agree with Maria. That sounds like it's utopia. Sexual compatibility is key.
Wait, and that's why everything messed up now.
These are scenes from the previous episode in the Mature Topics podcast. Subscribe and watch it now on the Koron Pierre YouTube channel. Hit that bell icon so you get all your notifications. And like the video so more people can see the video. I'm going to put some stuff on the screen. I actually want to read the post that Neo's wife put up. Because for me, for a celebrity, someone in the limelight, and you have issues in your relationship, it's kind of interesting for me that a celebrity would actually go on their page, or even just someone who is close to a celebrity, like the wife or a family member of a celebrity, would actually go on social media and put up a post that will get a lot of attention. So let me get this up on the screen. Let's talk about it. And I have some questions. I hope I can get a good amount of ladies in the building tonight because there's some things that we need to talk about. We need to have a real conversation tonight on the Mature Topics podcast. But I just want to pull out this quote. Um, that's the wife, Neo, the baby. But look at the post that she wrote. She wrote 8 years of lies and deception, 8 years of unknowingly sharing my life and husband with numerous women who sell their bodies to him unprotected. Now, my thing is, when she says unknowingly, ladies, let this be a lesson because Neo had a woman he was with previously who he actually left on the altar because she wanted to, because he didn't want to be in a monogamous relationship. And I believe they had one or two kids, and she actually had her tubes tied. And Neo just left her just like that. So, and I believe when he left her, he got with Crystal, right? I'm not 100% sure. I don't do the gossipy news stuff, but for her to say it's unknowingly sharing your life, I don't know. That just, if it is something that was shocking, I feel sorry for that. But she also says every last one of them. To say I'm heartbroken and disgusted is an understatement. To me, to stay and accept it is absolutely insane. I agree. You don't have to tolerate anything that you don't want to, especially when we talk about infidelity in 2022. I mean, we've talked about the dangers of cheating and things of that nature. So I'm glad that she's actually got to a point where now she's saying that enough is enough, right? The mentality of a narcissist. I will no longer lie to the public or pretend that this is something it isn't. Ooh, I choose me. I choose my happiness and health and my respect. I gained three beautiful children out of this, but nothing else but wasted years and heartache. I ask that you all please stop sending me videos or information of him cheating because what he does is no longer my concern. Wow. So it seems like she's checked out. She's up out of there. It seems like she is gone with the wind. I am not a victim. I am choosing to stand tall with my head held high. If someone can't love you the way you deserve, then it's up to you to love yourself. With no hate in my heart, I wish him nothing but the best. Wow. So I just wanted to put that up there for those who were living under a rock and didn't know. That's what Crystal put on her social media page. Exactly. You only get what you allow. Glad she's standing her ground. Yes, yes, yes. I'm happy too because one of the things I always talk about on this channel is you need to find that right person for you, right? This whole high value man concept, we really going to get into that tonight. Okay, let's see. I got. Oh, hey,
Hey
yeah.
there.
Do I sound clear?
Yes.
Okay, great, great. Oh man, I don't know what was happening earlier. I did a nice intro. Now I gotta edit this video and chop that part up. But what are your thoughts on what I just read? If you were listening, I'm pretty sure you did.
Yeah.
You posted that message on social media. I was saying before I read it that typically you don't really get celebrities or people around celebrities posting their business online unless like they're really like fed up or they're just trying to really uh, uh, make it, I guess, real. Because sometimes when you're going through this situation, it's like it's kind of hard to accept the reality of it. That this man
Mhm.
she loved for all this time betrayed her trust in that way. So for her to post this on the social media, I'm trying to see, the mind state or just analyze the mind state. But what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I felt like it was a shocker because I did watch the interview on the Breakfast Club with Neo promoting his new album, and he actually touched on his marriage dynamics and he spoke about his infidelities. He hinted towards the pandemic serving as like a fertile ground for both of them to come together and in a way forcibly fix their relationship.
Right.
He went and spoke about how, Crystal kicked him out of the bedroom, and then eventually, he came back into the bedroom, and it seemed like a story of a couple who, overcame some obstacles, and they were tight. So I was kind of shocked, honestly, to see her
Mm-hmm.
come out maybe like 48 to 72 hours later with that Instagram post. I did read it.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
When
Go
she
ahead.
launched it on Instagram, I did read it. And as far as my thoughts are, on the situation, I feel like this woman is fed up. She's tired, and that's the reason why she took to a public platform, because Neo mentioned their relationship as on the show to promote his album, and he did quite a number of interviews and spoke about their marriage. So she probably said, you know what, no, dude, stop trying to portray our marriage to
Right.
be something that is not, and championing our marriage or patronizing our marriage as if it's to sell albums. I'm going to come out and I'm going to speak on the situation. Now, I have an update on this.
Wait, hold on. Before you get to the update, I do want to do
Mhm.
two things. I want to do two things. Before we get to that update, salute to the people in the chat. This is open panel discussion. You want to join the panel, feel free to click the link in the description. But I do want to do this really quick. I want to because I know I'm showing website. I want to put this fair use up there just in case. Because we're gonna get into a lot of stuff tonight. I hope you guys are ready for an action-packed show. But this fair use is doctrine of the United States copyright law that allows limited use of copyrighted material. Okay, so I just wanted to put that on the screen. And before you get to that point, are you familiar with this lady right here, Mara James? Is that her name or Moneta? What's her
Her
name?
name is Monietta, and I am
Yeah, my
familiar
fault.
with her.
Yeah,
That's Neo's ex-wife, and
right,
she's
right.
also a current star or feature on The Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Oh, so she's on TV. Okay, okay, okay. So
Well,
because
she's on TV now.
she tied her tubes.
Yeah, and when that story leaked a number of years ago, I was salty about it. I actually became disimpassioned with Neo after that, after what he did to his ex-wife. He said that he didn't want any children, and he told her to tie her tubes. And, why don't you just get a freaking vasectomy if you don't want
Mm.
kids? You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
I didn't like that. I was like, oh, this guy is a scumbag.
Wow.
And, that's just how I felt about the situation. Only for him to get with this girl, Crystal, who was a side piece, by the way.
Right. Exactly. That's what I was trying to get to. Okay, so she was okay. Okay, because
Yeah,
she claiming that she didn't know Neo cheated, but
okay.
she
No,
met him on.
she was being very nasty in the comments in the very beginning when he
Okay.
was dating her and saying, I've been here and I'm with him and blah blah blah. She was like really going in on social media. So it's like how you got him is how you lose him, sweetheart. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's one perspective.
Right.
He was a scumbag to his ex-wife. You got to pay attention to how a man treats the other woman. I don't understand why, women think that they are um above law
Copy.
where relationships are concerned. Um
Copy.
so when he got into this relationship with Crystal, he ended up having like 3 kids with her or something like that.
Okay.
So a lot of people felt salty about that.
Right. So her claiming ignorance is kind of like it might be disingenuous.
It's
Especially when he
invalid.
says, when you say Neo said, because I didn't listen to the Breakfast Club interview, but you said Neo said that he, sort of fessed up to his cheating ways, or that was
hmm
exposed.
Yeah, that was exposed. He exposed that
Oh, okay.
on the Breakfast Club, and he was, I guess, you know how artists they take inspiration from their album, and they give the backstory of their album. So I guess she was like, no, you're not going to be using my trauma that I'm currently going through with you as a way to, spike album sales. That's what you're not going to do. And this girl went and took to social media and just aired his ass out.
I see. I see. So okay. I wanted to get because I'm getting ready to do a very very deep dive into this
And
whole.
allegedly there is a child on the way. So him
Another
stepping out
woman
on Crystal rendered a child.
with okay. Hey, hmm. I don't know what to say. I mean, I know what to say. I just want some more people to join the. We need to get some more people in the building before I get into this deep dive because I'm about to go in on this whole high value man topic, right? Um, it seems like what it is to me is it has to do with living in your truth. So it's either Neo's wife was Crystal, I should say. She was just like completely oblivious and just like I don't know, naive, where she thought that this guy would actually, be committed to her, right? Or Neo is just not being forthright with his whole like you said he was in the Breakfast Club. Maybe he's not really sharing what's going on, right?
Mhm.
So I don't know. I feel like we have to we need to really understand what the deal is when dealing with a high value man. So I want to where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? Do you want me to do the deep dive now?
Yeah, like progress with the show.
Rest of the show? Okay. All right.
Mhm.
I just wanted some people in the building because what I'm about to do is there's a panelist that normally joins the panel each and every week. Her name is Sherry, and she always highlights Kevin Samuels and the things that he say. So I did some research because that's what I do. I'm a researcher, and I couldn't find any real like scholastic or scholarly work on the concept of a high value man. When I looked up what a high value man, all I see is a whole lot of counseling websites, blogs, coaches, YouTube people, right? They all talk about high value man, but there isn't like scholastic work on the high value man, at least not that I seen. Maybe it's a different terminology, but the terminology for a high value man, right? Uh I did a lot of digging and I really couldn't find much. So I said, you know what? Let me go to the guy who really put a lot of effort and energy into exposing this concept of what a high value man is, right? And I feel like to those watching the show or those that will watch it the replay, if you're a woman, you will be triggered tonight. And I never ever watched a full Kevin Samuels video in my life. And I had to watch two of his videos because he in two of his I might now he might have other videos where he broke down more when it came to these topics, right? But or this topic of a high value man. But the two videos I seen, I feel like is efficient enough. So I want to put something on the screen because people are visual learners. Uh Salute to the people in the building. Hit the like button because we are about to go in. Let me get these slides up. So I was looking up what a high value man is, And let's do it like this. So Kevin Samuels has 6 criterias or 6 things that a high man 6 qualities that a high value man must have in order to be considered a high value man, right? And we're going to go through all 6. So let's start with the first one. The first one is self-evident. And this is what people typically think that high value men have, which is a lot of money, right? In that 100K club or slightly above that 100K a year club. So Kevin Samuels, he states that, we got Sherry in the building. Hello, Sherry.
Hey y'all.
You came in at the right time. You came in at the right time. Right time. Yes, we was talking about Neo and his wife Crystal, and that led to the question of what is a high value man, right? Mm-hmm. So I did some digging, and I couldn't find any scholastic work on what a high value man is. So I said, let me go see, because I never watched any Kevin Samuels videos. So I said, let me see his videos, because he had 2 videos where he really talks about what a high value man is, right? And so I wanted to get into it. So he has these 6, and Sherry, you probably already heard this before.
Yeah.
He has these 6 categories for what a high value man is, right? So the first one, is, of course, is, like I said, that 6-figure club, right? You got to make a lot of money, right? Okay, cool. So let's get to the second one. That's pretty much self-explanatory. Second one is you have to have a certain length of time. Hey, hold on. Ooh, I'm jumping. You have to have a certain length of time. Kemi's in the building as well. Hello, Kemi.
What's going on, y'all?
Not much. Are you ready to be triggered tonight? Because we going in on this high value man stuff tonight. We really going to get deep. Huh?
Lord have mercy. Let's go.
Okay, so we on the second phase right now of what it means to be a high value man. Hopefully you can see the screen clearly. So not only do you have to make that 10K a month, right? You have to do it for a period of 10 years. I mean, not 10 years, sorry, 3 to 5 years, right? So that's like the first 2 major qualifications. So all of the alpha guys, the guys who don't make that amount of money, who might get a lot of women, those guys technically are not high value men because they don't make enough money, right? Now, of course, I'm using the Kevin Samuels definition of what a high value man is. So we're gonna go forward with that, right? The next one is group acceptance, right? So now, not only do you have to have the money, you have to be a part of some sort of a group of men who also can be considered high value men, right? And you must be accepted into this group of men. So if you don't have this group of men, so if you're just solo by yourself, you don't technically qualify to being considered a high value man, right? So we're gonna go to the 4th slide, right? So you also need.
Are these things and or in between?
They're yes, right.
What did you say?
So you need to have all of them. They're not or.
Okay.
You got to have it. If you don't have them all, you're not a high value. You're a high value man in training. You're not there yet. You got to, So you got to have a
Henry.
Right. Exactly.
You're a what?
It's called Henry.
A Henry.
What is a Henry?
That's a high value man in training.
Oh, okay. I never even knew that.
That's a person's name. Why would they use somebody's name?
You know what?
That's an acronym that he placed in his own way.
I'm glad we got Sherry here.
I don't like that acronym.
I'm glad we got Sherry here because she actually is a good follower of Kevin Sam. Well, not, I want to say follower, but you watched a lot of his content.
Right? Yeah, he's cool to me.
Right. So you agree with all of this thus far, Sherry?
Wait, were you finished though, Koron? With the
No.
I'm not done. We just got started.
Okay.
Yeah. So for me, I don't know if I agree, but it's good to know.
Okay. Fantastic. So we're gonna move on. So you need a network of them, right? You need a network of high value men that you know. The 5th one is visibility, right? So another thing too, as I'm reading these lists of what qualifies a man to being a high value man,
notice Neo fits all of these. Neo he makes way more than 10K a month. He's a part of a fraternity, a group of men. He has a network of high value men. Oh, sorry, I gotta let Launch go back in. There you go, Launch. You back.
Okay.
Right? So he has the group of men and all of that stuff. He has the money, right? So Neo is a high value man. Even though we see what he did with Crystal and what he did with the other lady. What's the other lady name, Launch?
Mayetta.
Yeah, Mayetta. We seen what he did to them too, and now allegedly, Launch says that he has another one on the way, right? So, with the lady he stepped to the side with, so that's your high value man, right? So he must has the visibility, so like he must be known. So it can't be just like you meet a guy and he says, "Yeah, I'm an entrepreneur." No, he has to have some sort of status that is recognizable, right? Something that is actually tangible, something that you can actually see, something that you can actually feel, something that's actually real, not a dream, not a So this is the fifth level, right? Right. And utility, useful to the group and to others, right? So you have to be, of use. You have to be of value, right? And that's all Kevin Samuels says is needed to be a high value man. He doesn't say you need to be you don't have to treat your wife good. He doesn't say you have to make sure you do anything really for your wife in order to be considered a high value man, right?
I take that back. I fully agree, and I never really thought about it so much, but I do agree because
Yes.
if a woman wants to have a certain amount of kids, they need to be making a certain amount of money. Maybe one or none, fine. High value man doesn't have to have the income aspect so much. I don't know, but all the other qualities, you do need a team builder, someone who if he, let's just say that he had whatever amount of money he had, if he goes bankrupt today, how does he know how to make it back tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
So all of those things, I do think I agree with.
Right. Well, hey, listen, I'm glad you agree with me personally. I don't really care for this whole philosophy of what these standards that he says a high value man is. Like this is not from me. This is from him.
Women are thinking, just in the community itself.
Yes.
Not to preempt you, Koron, but in the Mature Topics podcast community, we pose the question, like, should high value men be allowed to cheat? And we had some people, coming in, and they're like, a high value, being rich doesn't make you high value. And here's the situation is that according to Kevin Samuels, you do have to have those qualities
to be
high value man. And it has nothing to do with, according to his definition, it has nothing to do with how he performed in his relationship. Absolutely nothing to do with that.
Right.
So I would say too, though,
Sherry, go ahead.
A part of that should be maybe not should be, but I think is a part of being high value is these high value people or individuals are sought after. If you're not being sought after, does you really have value anyway? I'm not going to say that nobody does not have value, but I'm saying a person who has high value or is like a precious metal is sought after. It's like gold and diamonds and stuff like that. I want, people would like the higher value versus who's really going to go and buy nickel or silver. It's all over the place.
Sought after by who? Everybody or like?
Well, I said, as far as sorry, go ahead.
I'm gonna read this. This will give a little clarity. So it got so bad that I had to go to the Urban Dictionary because, like I said, there is no scholastic publication breaking down what a high value man is.
It was his philosophy that he started.
He didn't create it. He didn't create it. What he did was, and he said it himself, he didn't create it. What he did was he made it, I don't want to say pop, he sort of gave it a different flavor and he put it in his own terms. So like those 6 things, I only seen one other guy, his name is Ed Lattimore, and he actually had like some of the same terms Kevin had. I don't know who got it from who, I don't know, but that those 2 people, the only ones I've seen with that whole breakdown like that, right? So I do want to read this a little bit. So this is from Urban Dictionary, right? A high value man is a man that is seen as highly viable to either society or in a relationship, romantic, family, friendship to the opposite sex, woman. In most cases, the term is used to refer to a specific caliber of men that women value most in the dating market. These men often hit certain archetypes of an alpha male or have acquired certain attributes that fit into the currently desired interpretation of a modern man. These men typically are high earners, right? That's what Kevin said. High social status, right? Uh, Traditional, fit or in shape, a desirable height, hygienic, successful in their own right, or with a clear future vision of success, confident, assertive, and masculine, funny, likable, caring, etc., mostly strong. Okay. These typically these men will not fit all of these characteristics, but for most women, an acceptable amount of the most important of these will suffice and classify them as a high value man depending on their preference. Usually, look at this last paragraph. Usually, these men play the field and do not settle down, or inversely don't date at all unless they find someone truly viable as a life partner. There's a shortage of these men. This is what I feel like is the key to identifying a high value man. The fact that there's a shortage of them, right? And a surplus of women who desire them. And that often encourage them to be non-monogamous. So we fast forward to Neo, and now we're going to really get into Kevin Samuels because I do have a clip. But before we get there, what do y'all think about that?
I mean, he
Do you
always
agree?
says that there's a shortage of these guys because they're the top 1%.
They're the
or
top one.
top 5 to 1%.
They're the
So
top 5%. So okay, so you know what, let's continue. I'm gonna continue before I ask questions. I want to get this out. I'm glad you joined, Sherry, because you listen to Kevin a lot, you know.
I do, but you know what's so funny? I don't think that I'm not a person who's seeking this quote unquote high value guy because I'm not
Respect.
for that. Like I like monogamy and that's cool. So
Copy.
even what he was saying on the show, as far as these men who would even become monogamous and, accept these women who are, married to these guys and accept their husbands having mistresses or whatever it is, or that they just are in a dating pool and they're dating this person and that person or whatever. All of that's cool for that person who wants that lifestyle.
Right. Right. Exactly. So exactly. And what I say is that instead of this high value guy, you should be looking for the right guy for you, period. Now the women who are into hypergamy, they gonna do what they want to do. I mean, the beauty of it is that you can literally have whatever it is you're looking for. Like it's just so much diversity out here, especially in 2022. And as we grow in the ages, like, and we're seeing like people move away from traditional relationships. I think people moving away from the traditional relationships make it better for the people that want traditional relationships because now those people can go over there and let the people that want to be in these, traditional monogamous relationships, let us rock. Let us have a party to ourselves. I call it the monogamous party. We want to be in the monogamous party. You guys, y'all don't want to be in that party? Fine. Go over there and call it whatever you want. Call it the poly party. Call it the polygamy party. I don't know. But just allow the monogamous people to be where they want to be. But I do want to I want to jump into this. So I got audio of Kevin Samuels. I'm gonna flash this fair use one more time. Right? Fair use. It's a doctrine of the United States copyright law that allows limited use of copyrighted material. Okay. So I just want to put that up there just in case. And I'm this is a screenshot of the audio I'm about to play. So I'm gonna play the audio and we could pause it and talk. I might pause it, but I can't rewind. So if you're listening, this is Kevin Samuels, and the name of this video is High Value Men Cheat. So that's what this video is about. He's explaining why high value men cheat. So to all the ladies, especially the ones that was in the group that was saying that high value men don't cheat and all these things, I think you need to listen to this Kevin Samuels clip because he possibly is on the money. So we're gonna listen to it.
They cheat. They cheat simply that.
Can you hear it? Can you guys hear it?
I didn't hear
No.
anything.
Can you hear it now?
I hear somebody laughing.
It's playing. Listen.
You can't make this shit up. You can't make it up. High value men cheat. They cheat. They cheat. They cheat.
You hear that? You hear that?
Yeah, they
Yes.
cheat. They cheat. They cheat.
Okay. So Neo, he's a cheater. He's gonna cheat. Let's go.
Why? Well, when you're in the top 10% of all mankind, from a value standpoint, and again, understand from a length of money standpoint, from being acknowledged by other men that you are of value, by having a network of high value men and other people, by being visible and having a network of high value men and being useful to others in the group. Ladies, understand.
That's what we just went over, right? So he's reiterating that in his speech of why high value men cheat. So let's continue.
What about you makes you think that a man that's that valuable, that 90% of the females on the planet would love to sniff his beard, what makes you think he's going to go out and slay the Minotaur and fight Cerberus? You think he's going to get out and fight Cerberus and do all these things to come home and just be loyal to you?
I ain't gonna lie, he has a really good production. He made me want to step my production game up. Like I never watched any one of his videos. All I saw was little clips. But like the little sound effects and stuff like that, that's kind of cool. That adds to it.
Oh. Let's go ahead and dispense with this. Miss me with God. I was raised in the Bible Belt and I was baptized at 5. I'm going to have an entire broadcast on the disingenuous nature in which how so much of Christianity is marketed today. But just go back to Solomon. How many wives did he have? What did David do with Bathsheba? Understand something, ladies. Men with power, men of value, cheat because they should. Yes, they should.
They cheat because they should. See, my only problem with a lot of Kevin Samuels' rhetoric is that it's so absolutist. He also said, and one of the clips I heard, I actually did a video responding to him. He said that all men cheat, and he said monogamy is not natural. Yeah, that's like a little shot to Neek. We got to set that debate up.
This is your unique topic.
Because he thinks that monogamy is not natural. I'm here to dispel that myth. Yes, there are men who cheat, but there are also probably more men that don't cheat. But let's continue playing.
And see, a lot of you ladies aren't going to like what I have to say, but I don't really give a French toast doggone. Because when you are in the top 10% of men and almost 100% of women want you, just like Pringles, you can't just eat one or Lay's or whatever. Why is it that so many women today seem to really honestly believe that in a connected world, a man who has separated himself and rose to the top has to be limited to you? If you
Wow. I'm going to keep playing.
want a high value man, ladies, you're going to have to praise him publicly, respect, and accept. Public, respect, accept, invest, sacrifice, and aesthetically support. You're going to have to, in that A, you're going to have to accept that you ain't going to be the only one. You may be the number one, but at best, you're number 3. He's first, his purpose is second, you're third.
That's it. It's a lot more, but I can't play it all. Yeah. Hopefully, I don't get a flag for that. I don't think I'll get a flag for that because of fair use. And I don't have his actual video. I don't have his actual video on the screen. So,
and he's not here to sue you.
Well, whoever's running this state. Let me just take this down.
That too.
But so yeah, what are your thoughts on
so my thing is, I feel as though
Kevin Samuels is portraying accurately the reality of what quote unquote high value men do. They do cheat. I mean, these celebrities, they cheat. These high power movers on Wall Street, they cheat. That's why you have escort servers. That's why you have sugar babies and sugar daddies. Hello. Like they're cheating on their wives. I think Kevin Samuels is just highlighting that fact, highlighting the reality and expounding on that. Why is it that women cannot accept that truth? So when you have a Crystal, you know, who knows what she's getting herself into, she knows that she's dating a celebrity. Why do we have these kinds going on social media and blasting what's already the probable outcome in the first place? You know what I'm saying? After some time, I feel like we just have to accept the reality of things.
But did Crystal sell her soul? Like maybe she thought that she could actually, I don't know, maybe convince him that, you know, please don't step out on me. Or maybe that she was more special than, you know, the woman that he was previously dealing with, his previous fiance, who she left, you know, he left her, his fiance, for her. Maybe she thought that because of that, you know, that would keep him from, I don't know, from stepping out.
I don't know.
Did she need to watch some Kevin Samuels videos?
I don't think she needed to watch Kevin Samuels. This is not his first time cheating on her, so she's not surprised. I think she's just upset that
She said she was. Hold on.
Well, I don't know why she would be. He's done it already. This is like, remember they divorced or broke up or whatever before, and then they got back together. This is not the first time. So she shouldn't be surprised, is what I'm saying. At the end of the day, I think she's more mad about the fact that he has another baby, which I think most celebrities who have wives or girlfriends and they cheat on them, I think most of those girlfriends or wives, that's really what they're upset about. Because I think they understand and they know that these men are probably going to cheat. But as long as you don't bring me a baby, or as long as you wrap it up or whatever, then we're good. Which I feel like even people in lower income communities say that to their men. Like they're okay with men cheating because they feel like all men cheat. But nah, make it public or embarrass me, then we're good.
The problem is today is social media, because they was doing this way back in the day. It's just the family that was around the block and down the corner is on social media now too.
That's true too. Yeah, cheating has always been accepted.
But why did she say unknowingly?
She just got ahead in the clouds.
Does someone have two windows open? Because it's the feedback.
I don't think I do.
I don't. But I hear myself two times.
So then it's you.
But I only have one door. All right, let me close this. I'll come back.
Okay. Somebody else talk. Do I sound like an echo?
No. Do I sound like an echo?
No. I think it was Sherry.
I just heard myself. And I'm hearing myself now. There's a feedback, Koron.
I don't know why. I don't sound like an echo. Maybe I should get off. Do I sound
I'm trying to see. Do I sound like an echo?
Yep. The whole thing is now echoing.
All right, let me get off.
Do you hear echo now?
No. Do you hear the echo for me?
No, it was Kimmy.
How about me?
No, you sound good.
All right, cool.
So Hope then Stewart.
Oh, that's my brother.
Oh, that's your brother. Okay, I just want to make sure we didn't have a troll. We added to the stream. Hello, Hope. How do I say it? Hope. Did I say it right?
Yeah, you got it right.
Hope then. How's it going, brother?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Everything's all good. We talk about high value men. We're talking about Neo and his wife coming out with a post saying that she's tired of him cheating over these past 8 years, And that led us to ask a question. Should we just allow these high value men to cheat? Should
Yeah, if
we,
that's what you want.
huh?
That's what you want. Like, if you want that paper and you don't care about your man cheating on you, like, you gotta make sacrifices. But like, if
Okay.
nigga open with you, so let you know he gonna cheat. Like, do your thing, get your bag. Otherwise, choose differently, choose better.
Right. So I understand that. My only problem with that is that why do we have to cheat? Why can't we just make it an open relationship? Make it like, well, if you want to be with me, you're going to, be my main woman, and I'm gonna have these women on the side. Why do we have to, as a man who's a high value man, why does he have to lie or put up the front like he's going to be that way when he's not?
Right.
I mean, I feel like most of them are pretty open about it. They're like my uncle was a high value, or is a high value man. He got caught, but he was just like, you know what it is. Like, I'm getting like, I'm paying for this $1 million house. You got a pool in the back, a hot tub. Like, what you want? Like, I'm not bringing none of them home. Like, you don't know about none of them, but like, deal with it.
Jesus.
So wait, hold on. So you got Tiger Woods, you got Michael Jordan, you got a whole list of dudes that got divorced for cheating. And my thing is, and they had to give up a lot, damn near half. So my thing is, they're not doing it, and I think that is the problem. That you don't have enough guys like your uncle who said, "Hey, you know what? You're going to be my woman on the side. I mean, you're going to be my main woman, and I'm going to have these women on the side." See, I'm for that. Like, what I'm about and what I try to talk about on this channel is like just living in your truth. Like, we shouldn't have any more crystals and women like that. Like, they should know. Like, you know what? You know who I think knows about their husbands or their boyfriends. I'm not sure if they're married. Tristan Thompson with Chloe.
Right.
I feel like she knows. Like, he told her like straight up, like, "Yo, I'm outside. I'm gonna do what I have to do. I'm not going to stay committed." So,
lost to get with it.
Right, get lost to get with it, and that's fair. Even guys like Rick Ross and Floyd Mayweather. And of course they've been in relationships before previously, but I think they got to a point in their lives where they're like, you know what, monogamy is not for me. And Kevin talks about the reason why men get married in the first place. He says that a lot of men that are at the top of the corporate ladder, they have to have a family. It's like if you don't have a family, it prohibits you from getting to the top. Like, you don't see too many bachelors, that are at the top of a lot of these companies. And I get that, but like, let's just practice living in that truth. Hopefully, Kimmy got her connection together. But that's all.
I don't think any man is gonna be okay with his wife stepping out. Like, that's where the open relationship thing kind of dies, because
no, it could be one-sided. It could be one-sided. It could be one-sided. Yeah, like, listen, I'm paying all the bills here. You don't have to work. You don't have to do anything. So with that being the arrangement, I'm gonna allow you to go on your vacations and do what you got to do. But you can't be out there.
Right.
But I'm gonna do what I have
Otherwise
to do.
You're a cuck.
Huh? Otherwise what?
Otherwise you're a cuck.
A cuck?
You a cuck. CUCK. Like, you I'll drive your wife. Like, wow.
Copy. Yeah. So yeah, when we say open relationship, it doesn't necessarily have to be open both ways. It could just be the man does what he has to do. And but I do think that you don't think that there could be some danger with just having, a man just go out there and do what he has to do. Like, I feel like, yeah, go ahead.
You right, like, you got STDs, you got pregnancies, like, you got crazy bitches that'll lie and say you raped them, like, so it's like you really taking a risk. And I feel like once you get to a certain level, you gotta understand that risk and weigh that balance. And for me personally, it wouldn't be worth it. But some other guys,
Don't say crazy bitches.
crazy women, crazy people. Excuse my
Yes.
French.
Yeah. This is a clean, no cussing or limited cussing atmosphere.
My apologies. Respect.
It's all good. As far as Sherry, well, I can't ask Lodge because Lodge is already, she's with me. But would you consider being in a relationship with a high value man, someone that can take care of all your, you don't have to worry about
Absolutely
anything.
not.
Okay, yeah, you did say that.
Yeah. No.
What about I'm curious to hear Kemi's answer.
Nope. The answer is no. You don't even gotta ask.
But
Just
okay,
no,
so
it's never happening.
okay, all right. So now I'm gonna make a hard choice.
Mm.
Would you rather deal with a guy who, has money? He's gonna really, I'm talking about elevate your lifestyle, like
Mm.
literally take you out of the rat race, right?
Mm.
Set you up to be, a woman of a wealthy woman, right?
Mm.
Versus dealing with a guy who not necessarily you might have to split 50-50 with, but kind of like a 50-50 kind of scenario. You got to work and you probably got to do overtime to maintain your household. But this guy is monogamous. He's not going to step out. Which one would you really choose?
None of them.
Wait,
I don't.
no
'Cause
middle?
No, there's no middle. No, that's the choice.
My middle is none of them. None of them, because I am not getting cheated on. Because if I choose the guy who's gonna make me, disgustingly wealthy, but I'm gonna be unhappy the whole time because this man is not with me alone, and I'm worried about all kinds of stuff, especially STDs and another baby. Like, that's too much to worry about. And the dude where I have to work, when you got me was when you said I have to work overtime.
Yeah, you might
No,
have to
I
work.
don't want none of them. I don't want none of them.
Okay.
Yo, Kimmy.
Working is one thing, but you said I had to work overtime. I'm good.
I had to add some sauce to it. Okay.
I'm gonna be by myself.
I wonder if there's some woman out there that would make that choice, because there are women that are making that choice, because
There
there's
are.
like, after Crystal leaves them, you better believe there's gonna be like another 20,000 Crystals waiting to get back with them. So I don't know. I'm trying to be of help to a lot of these celebrities, because it's like I had a show on my channel called Where Monogamy Goes Wrong, and all I would do is just talk about each time I hear about a divorce, each time I would hear about a scandal, and I always would say, yo, why not? Why don't just go the poly route? Like, because you can be monogamous from a marriage standpoint, but then you can be sexually, other, right? You don't have to act as though because and it's the same men. It's like the repeat offenses.
I
So it's
think
not
it's
like it's
because a
just a
lot
one.
of these men really don't want to be like. I think within themselves, I think they really do want to be monogamous, but for some reason they just can't. And I don't even know how to word it. I think that them being publicly polygamous, it's probably in a way maybe like embarrassing or against their morals for real, or because
Mhm.
polygamy is a smaller part of the population. Most people scream monogamy and how monogamy is the right thing.
Right.
So a lot of these people, especially celebrities, where they're being looked at and scrutinized for every small thing, they don't want to do the wrong thing. They want to go with the grain instead of against it. So I don't know. I think that's what it is. And I think a lot of men, I don't know. I think they want to be monogamous just because it was taught that way and they think it's the right thing. That's just really it. But they just keep cheating and they never gonna stop. And like, I guess like Kevin Samuel says, because he's so sought after and because he has this bunch of money, he's supposed to be non-monogamous. So
Right. Yeah, because Kevin
yeah.
says that it's not even natural in the first place.
Mm.
So being that it's not natural, like, for a woman to expect a man of a certain caliber, to stay faithful to her is like she's just like, setting herself up for failure, basically. Not to he didn't actually say that, but to paraphrase where he was going with the messaging. So I'm curious, Hopton, are you there? I'm curious. Are you someone who considers yourself to be monogamous?
If it depends on the woman.
Depends on the woman. Okay.
I'm talking to somebody
Okay.
right now, and she like an average value woman or above average, and she could have me monogamous, but like a low value woman, is
Well, you
highly
wouldn't even
unlikely.
get with a low value woman, right? You wouldn't even get with a low value woman, right?
If low value, like as in like outside of physicality, like so she's pretty but she don't got nothing going for her, like I'm probably not gonna be monogamous with her. But if she's like smart and she got a good head on her shoulders, like she got more like a better chance to tie me down.
A better chance, but not a sure thing.
Better chance. I don't think anything so.
So you're not someone who seeks monogamy. You just be like non-monogamous all the time, or is monogamy something you want, or
it
no?
depends on who I'm with. Like if I'm with the girl I want, then I'm gonna be monogamous. But if I'm not, I might step on.
Well, why would you be with someone who makes you want to be non-monogamous anyway?
Because you're a man and you gotta have a woman at all time, not all times, but like 80% of your life. That's what our parents teach us. Like my uncle was
well,
like,
why can't you just have her as a friends with benefits instead of making her and be transparent with her to let her know, like, yo, we just friends with benefits.
I was going to ask
that.
Excuse me.
Say that again.
You're looking out for yourself. You're not
so
trying.
Selfish.
So hold on. Hold there. How old are you? I'm
28.
28. Okay, so you passed the 25 mark. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but you're still young.
Have you ever been monogamous with? I'm sorry, I'm cutting Koron off. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm interested in what this man got to say. Have you ever been monogamous?
Yeah, when I was with two females, two women.
Okay, you were monogamous to two women.
Mm-hmm.
That's not monogamous. That's
not at the same time, right?
Two separate. Yeah, two separate.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm so sorry. Okay, was this before? How old were you at these times?
21, 24.
Okay, and were you monogamous because they were what you call high quality women?
Yeah.
Value women?
Above average value.
So why did you leave, or why did you guys end?
Because
I'm all up in your business, but I'm just
one I caught on seeking arrangements, like when we just got back together. It's like, yo, you over here looking for a sugar daddy, and you calling me out for cheating, and you think I'm cheating. So that was one. And the other one, honestly, I just didn't treat her right. Like, I was dibbling and dabbling. Like, so I said I was monogamous, but I get like we had a threesome with the first chick.
So you had a threesome. So I feel like the boundaries started to dwindle once you have threesome. That's my idea. So you weren't monogamous with her. Okay. So she was on seeking arrangements.
Yeah.
Why was she on seeking arrangements? Were you not fulfilling her financial needs?
Heck no. I was a pro fighter. I was not. Fighters don't make
dude. What type of fighting you do?
Mixed martial arts, the cage stuff. The crazy.
Nice.
Okay, so you were deficient, and so she tried to seek it elsewhere.
I guess. Yeah.
Okay, so then do you consider yourself high value?
I'm above average value.
Above average. Were you above average value at that time?
Nah, I was like low value financially, but like with potential. So that's why she was messing with.
Okay,
with
so
potential.
You wanted a high value woman, but you were not high value.
High value. I thought she was above average. She was pretty, but like she had a lot of bodies. Like
a lot of bodies. We talked about that before.
So that brought her value all the way down to me. Catching her on seeking arrangements brings the value down too. It's like
you said, catching her on seeking arrangements.
Yeah, because to me, you selling your box.
You selling your box.
Yo, Kimmy, your sound is a little choppy. You might want to go and come.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
It's like
we can hear you. It's just choppy.
It's a little choppy.
Oh nah, because I got questions for this man. Hold on.
Yeah, come back in.
Let me. I think it's because I'm on my iPad. Hold on. Let me hang up.
Oh,
Wait a minute.
okay.
So I do got a question, Hope. Then, do you
Mhm.
feel as though, because you're a man on the panel, do you feel as though monogamy is? Oh no, forget that. Do you feel that is natural for a man to cheat?
Honestly, yeah, but I feel like nature is a bad argument. Like it's like one of those fallacies, the naturalistic fallacy. Like just because something's
Oh,
natural
thank you,
doesn't.
sir. Oh my God, yeah, thank you. I'm having a debate with this guy who thinks that monogamy is not natural, but that's a whole nother topic. But okay, cool. Yeah, the natural fallacy. Yep. That's one of the things I will break down in that debate. I'm glad he said that. Yeah, good. Well answered. Yeah. You know what I think though? I think that, like, of course, like, things happen, people change, people grow, they get older, they change their mind. My only thing is, and one of the things I always talk about is just living in your truth. If you find yourself in a situation where you want sex outside of your relationship, I feel like as a man, hold on, Kimmy's back.
Okay, wait. I'm
All
gonna
right, Kimmy.
camera.
Okay,
off.
perfect.
Oh yeah, turn your camera off. Okay,
Yeah.
but I feel as though as a man, you should be able to speak your mind freely because we're not little boys anymore. Like I know what it's like to have to sneak out to go outside, and I feel like as a man, like the sneaking, and if you're a man, you should just go for what you want. You know what I'm saying? Without any restrictions. So I feel as though if you do get to that point, now there's multiple reasons why men step outside the relationship. Um, but unless like now you might be a professional fighter, so you might be in a different class of men. But for the average guys, but for the average guy, they don't have like the woman in the hotel excuse. Like you actually are going out there seeking it. You see what I'm saying? Like you're putting yourself in positions to get with women. It don't just happen like that. Like, oh
Right.
yeah, I wanted to, get another woman, so it just magically happened. You got to
Nah.
get a woman that wants you first, because not every woman who you look at is even going to be into you. Like I said, unless you're like at the top of the top, then you have women falling all over you. But for the average guy, it takes effort to get there. So
A
all
lot
I'm
of
saying is, before you even get there, conversation should be had, and it's there. And listen, in 2022, like we talk about on this show, we talk about safe sex, how that's like becoming a lost art. Like people are out here, they're cheating, they're not wearing any condoms, no protection, and it's kind of dangerous to live that promiscuous lifestyle without any structure or if any value,
yeah.
because we talk about getting a series of STD tests. We even tell people on this channel that they should consider waiting for a period of time before they even, have sex, to go through your series of STDs tests to make sure everything is okay. So if you're going through all this effort and energy to have safe sex, then cheating won't just happen like that.
Right.
That's why, like, I get that cheating does happen, but the reason why it happens is because people are not really conscious. They're not making conscious decisions. They're acting out of impulse. They're acting because they think the grass is greener on the other side, et cetera, et cetera. So, um, you know, definitely before you cheat, there's things that you can do before you even get to that point from an adult perspective, especially as men. Like I don't sneak around to do anything. I'm a grown man. I'm doing what I want to do without any hindrance, right? And for me personally, I don't cheat. I don't believe in I'm put it like this. I'm team monogamy. And if there's like a president of the monogamous team, I'm the president of the team. That's just me. But I'm not a preacher. I'm not here to say that if you're not monogamous, then you're not living right. Like, no, I don't come from that cloth. Right. I don't have the church of monogamy, like where everyone has to be this way. But like I said before you came on the stream, we need to have, okay, this is the monogamous people, that's the poly people, that's the polygamous people. Like, just go with your group. Like, leave us monogamous people alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't come over here if you don't want that. If you want to be with
Yeah.
the hypergamous people, you want to be with the, all the other AMY people, go over there. But leave the monogamy people where they need to be. So that's what we're talking
And that's
about.
how I
Go
feel
ahead,
like that's
Kenny.
how a lot of women be getting a lot of bodies because they want to be monogamous and they getting tricked. Like some of these guys who are not. I'm like, damn, it's crazy.
That's why they need to abstain. They need to abstain. They need to listen. If you abstain and you're dating the way I suggest, your body count won't rise as high because it's going to take effort before you even drop the panties.
I
You're not
got a
just
question.
go ahead,
Sorry, let me
Kimmy.
let you finish. Go ahead.
No, all I was going to say is that the reason why, and Sherry's right, because serial monogamy is a real thing, and like you go from one to one to one to one to one to one to one. You do that enough, now you got 50 bodies, and you're like in your 30s, 35, 32, and you're not married, and nobody wants to marry you because they think that you have a high body count. Go ahead, Kimmy.
Is that only for women though? Is it women that can't get married because they have a high body count, or is it men too?
Can I?
Women only.
No, well, hold on. I'm not saying that they can't get married. I'm just saying that if they aren't married, possibly the body count is a pivotal reason to that.
Right,
That's
and I'm
all.
saying, is it a pivotal reason for the women only, or the man only, or the man
Uh,
also?
It
it can
applies
hinder
to
men.
women
It can
because
hinder
men are the
certain men too.
choosers.
It's the market.
Yeah,
Because what?
Go ahead,
I said,
Sherry.
men are the choosers. So it's like men are not going to marry themselves.
So women
So
marry
if the
themselves?
woman has a high body count, it's more so on her for her abstaining from sex and lowering her body count than it is the guy because the guy is the one who proposes to the girl.
Right, but Sherry, but it's the girl who accepts the invitation to go out on a date.
Sorry.
Yep. It's the market side. So like girls don't ask me my body count unless they like joking. Like guys be dead serious when we ask. Girls really don't care from my experience. And if
No,
they
they
like
Oh
care.
wow.
cares, like they don't be showing it. Like if the market decides your value.
So here's the thing, and I want to make a disclaimer before people out there think that I'm something and I'm not. I'm not any of this. I'm just trying to get an understanding of this. My body count is not high, but I'm just trying to get an
No, no,
understanding.
no. We just having general conversation.
I'm just trying to get an understanding of why, because Sherry said that men choose or men don't marry themselves, but neither do women. And as Hopeton said, women have to accept. So, and even though men propose, there is actually some kind of talk or something done before the proposal, because you got to know if that's where you guys are both headed. You don't just pop out the blue and propose to somebody. There's going to be some type of idea that that y'all both understand that the relationship is heading here. So if he proposes at some point, you're not going to be like super shocked because this is where it was heading. Like, you know what I'm saying? For the most part. So I don't understand why it's only women that are being penalized for having a high body count when men have a high body count and they're not penalized.
Y'all
I'm
don't
trying to
care.
understand
Y'all don't
whoever
care.
accepts that reasoning. Can y'all explain to me why the reasoning is so?
Y'all don't care. Like women do not care about a man's body count. Like
They
actually they see
don't.
it active. Where
Okay.
You know what
Why
else
don't
too?
they care, do you think?
You know what else too? Like sometimes, like if a man has a large body count, it's associated with him having a certain prowess in the
What?
bedroom. Like he's experienced. Like it could be seen like that. But no, to be honest, it does depend because some women might, be a little concerned over that, especially if they scientifically literate and they understand germ theory, and we understand that, if this guy has a large count body count of a lot of women he had sex with, man, he probably has something, or he might cheat and give me something. So some women could see it that way too. But we
Yeah,
just
that way. But then you also said that men who have a high body count can be looked at as having a certain type of prowess or experience in the bedroom.
yes,
So why?
I think generally it can be seen that way.
So why can't we women seem that way? Why can't it be like, okay, this
That's
girl
just
got a lot of body, so that means she know what she's doing because she's experienced different things. Why can't it be seen that way?
that's just
not
not how it is. It's just
Why?
not
it's
hard
the
to pull.
way our society is set up. But go ahead, Hope.
Okay.
It's not hard to pull. It's not hard to pull men. Like a girl could go out down the street or go to the mall and ask a guy if he wants to fuck in the bathroom. He might say yeah. Excuse me. Or
Yeah, that bombs. But go ahead.
A guy went up to a girl and said the same thing, she's gonna call the police.
That's true. That's true.
Me too.
That's true. I don't think that it would be a lot of guys that would say yes, because I think a lot of guys would say no and think like, "Oh, you're trying to set me up." But he's right. She's not gonna go to jail, right? He's just gonna be, "Oh, this girl," it's either he's gonna do it or he's gonna say, "This girl, I don't know, man. This was kind of weird. I feel like she's trying to set me up," and that's
What
it.
does that have to do with the body count, though? I'm sorry. How
It's
does that align?
that it takes to get the opposite sex as a man. It takes a lot more skill and effort to pull as a man than it does for a woman. Like
So you're saying it's harder for a man to get a woman?
Yes.
Oh,
technically, yes. Technically, yeah. I see what he's trying to say.
I had this great conversation with Neek many times. The amount of effort that it takes, because I'm gonna move over very quick. Sorry, the amount of effort that it takes for a man to get a woman, you got to think about the science that it goes into it. They're the ones spending a lot of money on dates, but before we even get to dates, just suppose you don't think that this guy who's trying to talk to you is cute. How many women think that this guy is not cute, right? Or aside from the woman not thinking that he's cute, then boom. Hey, I mean, like I posted something on my social media the other day. I don't know if you saw it, but I think you did, where the guy was shooting his shot and she was just like, "Oh, excuse me, I don't have any money. I'm so sorry." And he was like, "I'm not homeless." And it was just brutal. It was so brutal. She was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean anything, but I'm good." How many many times do guys get shut down like that? Women don't even be trying to shoot shots like that. I feel like, in my opinion, I don't see that. Sometimes, but not really.
Okay, I feel like it's hard to get a good woman or a decent woman, but I feel like if men really want to have sex, which they do, they go get a body anywhere, because I've seen them do it all over social media, in real life.
It's not the same for men. They can't just pick up and like if let's just say they might have had girls in the past. It's harder to get a girl from the past even than it is a girl that is brand new on the street. I see that too.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, Kimmy. What we're talking about is, see, even in our conversation, if you look at just how we see the world, like it's kind of like that general view of how things are. For some reason, a woman who has a higher body count is looked at as just like hoish, right? It's looked at like she possibly was a slut.
Easy.
Versus a man is looked at like, he has certain prowess. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't women that won't be turned off by that, but from a general standpoint, it's more of a deal breaker for a woman to have.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Kimmy. Oh, she's not here. Dang.
She jumped off. Yeah, her network is kind of in and out. Hopefully, she'll come back.
Well, I was gonna say, my example is, you ever went to a place, maybe even Launch can answer the question, I don't know, maybe not, but if you ever go to a place, right, and maybe you run into your man's ex-girlfriend, you don't feel any type of way. You might just be like, "Oh, well, he's with me now." And maybe you might have ran across, "Oh, he probably told you, oh, I used to deal with this woman too." Oh, Kimmy, I'm saying, if you ever been in a situation where you're out in the public and then you are with your man and you see his ex-girlfriend and he's like, "Oh, that was my ex-girlfriend," whatever, you don't feel any type of way. You're just like, "Oh, well, he's with me now." And then maybe you might run across another woman later, and he probably was with her too. But now you still say to yourself, "Well, he's with me now." If that happens to you or the woman in the relationship, and it's like a few, and like, it might take him by surprise, and you didn't even say. You might have said, "My ex-boyfriend was John, and I only had 2 relationships." But then come to find out that there was John, Dick, Joe, Harry, blah 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 blah. He's gonna feel away, especially how the person greets you and all of these different things. I have seen this. I have heard these stories. So, I mean, it's a difference of how we feel about it versus how they feel about it.
Yeah, and I think that's driven by patriarchy. That's why society views it that way. It's definitely
partially,
driven because I
You
don't.
can
And
take
I
it a step
actually
further too. Let's add children into the mix. Guys with children are more accepted than women with children are. For the reason is
terrible.
I mean, it may be terrible, but like, well, let's just look at society. We could say that, but societally, let's just say that
$100,000 for somebody's kid. We not trying to have the girl that you go to the party and cornball on the corner is like, "Yeah, I cracked that." Like, that's just it. Like, we real masculine and protective, like as we're supposed to be. Like,
so Hope that you wouldn't deal with a woman with a kid?
It depends on how smart and beautiful she is. It's gonna take a lot.
Okay. I thought I was gonna get a
I would
hard
say
no.
also too.
Nah,
I respect that. I respect that because you know what? Once you get to your 30s and 40s, a lot of people have kids. So I think in your 20s, it possibly should be a hard no. But when you get to them 30s and 40s, you'd be hard pressed. Honestly, if it were me, I would be like, you don't have a kid? I might think something might be off. Because when you get to your 30s and 40s, like, now you're leaving that age of having safe pregnancies, right? That
right.
pregnancies become more high risk. And maybe if you have a kid, I have a kid, now we probably may just want one kid. Maybe let's just do one kid and that's it. But we already got kids, so we don't even need to, once you get to that older age. So I just think that for I don't know if it's unfortunate, but that's just the way the world is. A woman with a higher body count, a lot of men is going to be turned off by that. They're not
Yeah,
going to want to wife it.
right.
So I do. We do have another topic. A lot of the times I hold off on topics because um I like to either bring in an expert or someone that has experience with the topic, so we can actually get like a real solid foundation. But I think that some of these topics we're gonna revisit, especially when we get people, because I do want to talk about polygamy, right?
Mhm.
And I really want to know how women feel about polygamy, which is different from a high value man cheating. It's it's a marriage status where there's multiple wives, and you can have an order wife 1, 2, 3, 4. You can have an order to it wherever you want, but it's not like just a guy running around doing what he has to do.
Right. He's taking care of him.
Do any of you guys know a Dante?
That's our other brother. That's our brother.
Okay, all right. I just gotta make sure. How's it going, Dante?
How's everything?
Everything's good. Okay. Do any of you guys know a Chris? If you
Nah,
say no, he's not coming in.
Yeah.
Nah, Chris.
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, we gotta get Chris out of here.
I
Yeah, because
did
we get
share
trolled.
the StreamYard in the community group, Quran. So
No, babe. He looks like one of the
mhm.
trolls. I'm not doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, he's getting up out of here. But hello, Dante. Yeah, we were talking about high value men cheating, and we kind of made the shift to polygamy. But I do have a question though for
Yeah,
you, Dante. Do you feel that it is natural for men to cheat?
it's a natural for men to cheat. I would say no, but I would say circumstances might lead them to cheat. But I think if the man honestly likes the female or the woman, he's not gonna cheat. Because if I work so hard to get the female I want or the woman I want, why would I go and cheat on her? It was pointless putting in all that work, in my opinion.
Copy. And how old are you?
I'm 31.
Oh, okay. So you well above the golden age. Um,
Yeah.
the golden age is like I say that most men, and this is just anecdotal. This is not no. I don't have no scholarly works on this, but I have a theory that men under 25, for the most part, are not faithful. They're still growing up. They're still learning. They're still mesmerized by just a woman's presence,
I
and
could, I could
huh?
chime in, not to cut you off. I would
Go
say
ahead.
5 is an age for both male and females to figure out life. That's the first
Right.
I
lead.
hate that argument.
I feel like it's the truth. Like
I
I'm
hate that.
one.
Hey, look, it's not a science to it. It's just my little theory.
I
But
think even for a female, but they do
Nah,
say females are more mature than
mature.
males. But I think at 25, it'll be hard for me to date a 25-year-old if their mindset is not where I need it to be or where it needs to be, because I'm more of one to start a family at my age than
Right.
bounce
Right.
around.
Right. Yeah, because once you get to them 30s, right, you start looking at life a little different. Like
Yeah,
you
because
don't.
I'm already in the field I, I enjoy. I've been
Mhm.
doing my job for in my career for 6 years now. I'm a real estate agent.
Oh
Um,
well, congrats on that. Nice.
thank you, I appreciate it. I'm just trying to get more like people of color in the industry because it's not a lot of us. Surprisingly, you would think it is, but it's not.
Mm.
To the topic, Dante.
No, no, no. It's good. So would I well, I'm not sure if you consider yourself a high value man. I don't want to go back. We went over the standards for it. But one of the standards is
No,
100K.
you listening? I would consider myself not high value yet, but just below.
Okay. So you're like a high value man in training.
Exactly, because I still have
Copy.
a couple things I need to accomplish before I consider
So
myself a high value man.
copy. So I know you said that you don't think it's natural for a man to cheat, but being that we see example after example, of course, mostly this comes from celebrities, but I'm pretty sure we all know some guys that might fit that standard of what a high value man is. We see a lot of them get caught up in cheating scandals.
But I think the females
Hmm.
too. I think females play a part too because I think it'd be so much backlash on the males. What if what if the man, or I say I eat myself is this good man, but the person I'm dealing with is just no good. I Females don't get the same backlash males does for cheating. Female could cheat on a guy or hurt a guy, and then nothing ever gets said. Like it just gets swept under the rug.
Where?
Really?
I think so.
That's cap.
Whoa, I don't know about that, man. Because I actually have studies on that to show like men are less tolerable to a woman cheating. Like if their wife cheats, a man is out. He's gone. Like, he's not trying to settle for that. It's like the ultimate deal breaker. Whereas women, even a lot of women too, like they're gone too, but they'll be more open to taking that man back, especially if he could convince her that it was just a physical, it wasn't really anything emotional, no emotional attachments. Now, when a woman cheats, it's hard for a man to think that there's no emotion there. And that's what really would kill a man. Like, yo, does she like just the emotional aspect of, you know, is this guy better than me, or will she go back to this guy? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot more of that with us, you
I can
know,
agree with that.
So, but what I was going to ask you was, and you don't necessarily have to answer for yourself, but if I'm a high value man, and we played a clip from Kevin Samuels where he was breaking down that a high value man is supposed to cheat. He's supposed to do what he wants to do, right? Do you believe that we should just allow them to cheat, being that, look, I make all the money, I pay all the bills. You don't got to do anything. We got a maid. You don't got to clean all that cooking and cleaning. You don't got to do none of that.
Yeah, but I still saying give you an excuse to step out just because you're the breadwinner. I don't believe so. I wouldn't do that. If I had to answer that question, just because you're a high value man, still keep the core principles of what you call a high value man and be a man of honor. Don't just step out because you can.
No, but that's not it. No, sir, that's not a man of honor has nothing to do with being a high value man. We literally went through it. It has nothing to do with respecting the lady, how you treat the woman. It has everything to do with
But
your
or
Then
really
how would
quick
I
financial
consider
power.
high value
on
then?
from Kevin's perspective though, he was more so talking about men who like they have the right to cheat. It was about sharing the wealth, and like why should he only be giving everything to you? That's very selfish. And so in that
Right.
way, he was kind of describing polygamy in that way. So it's just like I'm gonna share with you, I'm gonna share with you, I'm gonna share with you, and as long
Yo,
as I can
what?
afford it, that's what his perspective was.
Jerry, no. This is
I
the
thank
one
you,
thing
Kimmy.
where I completely
No, that's
and
him. That's him. That's not
utterly
me.
Yeah.
That's
okay,
him.
because I'm like this, and either way, that is so crazy because you can.
But your
Okay, hold on.
my
Kevin Samuels is saying that it's okay for a high value man to cheat, right? Because he needs to share his money. Yo, you could donate to the cancer center, to whatever you want to donate to, and still share the funds. Why you got to share it with another woman that you're putting your penis in? That makes no sense.
I don't understand how I don't understand how that's
But Kimmy, it doesn't look. I'm not gonna bring no drama to the house. I'm gonna
Nah,
keep this on
Great
the
Jude
outside.
email me every day. What do they call Great Jude? Good Saint Jude? Email me every day, unwarranted. Like, if this man want to share his funds, I got some places he could send it to. I don't understand why it's okay for a man to cheat because he wants to share his funds. That makes no sense. Kevin
But
Samuels,
Kimmy,
that
I
don't make
upgraded
no
you.
sense.
I took you from the Walmart and I
Mm-hmm.
put you in a 7-figure home
Mm-hmm.
where literally your days is filled with just shopping and you don't have no real responsibility around the house because we
Sunflowers
have
and
maids.
bonbons.
Uh-huh.
Right. So what I'm saying is, look, I may be away on the trip. Look, you're gonna be the number one. I promise to
Right.
not put no one in front of you. It sounds crazy to me. That just sounds crazy, but I'm just speaking like how they would speak.
Uh-huh.
And look, you know, and I may go on a conference. I may see a woman there, and we may go to a hotel. But that's there. That has nothing to do with this house. You know, like that sounds crazy. I can't even
That
go
makes perfect sense.
Nah, you right though. Like I feel
I
you.
don't
Like
care how much money. There are some women who agree with that, and they probably look at me like I'm stupid because they're like, "Girl, that's an opportunity." This
right,
whatever. But to be
right.
honest, there's no amount of money in the world that can allow somebody to what I think is disrespect me. Like, you cannot pay me
Mm,
enough for me to allow you to disrespect me. Respect and
respect
loyalty
it.
means a lot to me. So you can't. I'll rather keep me at the Walmart. I'll stay at Walmart and figure it out
Right.
because you're not about to just sit there and feel like because you give me money, that means that you could talk to me. However,
That's
Right.
exactly what it
no,
sounds
you
like.
could do what to me, whatever. No, 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 no,
nah, you
no,
And
right.
no.
Kim,
So you gotta date the average guy.
and then so
Well,
when Kimmy, so
No,
well,
Kimmy,
actually, I'm not from
well,
Kevin Samuel's definition of a high value man. I never want one of those. If that's what he's calling a high value man, first of all, the men that
Yeah.
I date most of the time don't even use social media or like that. So I don't want no high value man. So I'm good on that, and I'm okay. I'll date a low value man if
I
that's
respect
what it's
that.
called.
Like girls that be looking down. A lot of girls look down on like average earning men. Like so, it's like,
I think only
and you
celebrity
gotta be
guys.
okay with what comes with the
The
high
high
value.
value doesn't mean the money, according to Kevin
Yeah,
Summers.
that's
It
what
doesn't
It's
only
like
mean the money. It's
50% of
it
everything
it.
does
else
mean
also.
right, it is everything else. So yeah, it's not just the money. So yeah, you could be a part of the 10K a month club and still technically not be a high value man. You have to be
yeah.
within a network of men. You have to provide a certain value in society. You also have to make that income over a period of 3 to 5 years. So you can't just have a 1 year good year and bam, now you're a high value man. It's like
I
a
was about to say that too.
That's real.
Just you can make a lot of money one year and be fly broke the next.
yeah. So then you're not high value. So you don't
Yeah.
count. You don't get the privilege of with
Well,
coming
what?
with a high
That,
value man.
that's the question. Why is high value only pertaining to money?
That's what it's
That's the
about.
basis. That's what it's about. Because money make the world. So what happened in evolution, right? Back in like older times, before we had a monetary system and a government where you had like laws and control and civilization, basically, right? Before, what mattered to most to women was men with big muscles. So that's why even to this day, you see men, they want to get big, they want to get strong because the men with the muscles got all the women.
It's a
Because
simple protection.
right, because you had to literally physically protect these women from whatever outside elements, from
Yeah.
other humans, from other animals, from whatever. You had to be physically fit, right? Today, the physical fitness is not even really a factor. It's the money. The money replaced that. So if you have the money, you don't have to work out. You don't got to do all of that stuff. Now, now you become the high value man. So money does play a role. I just personally, I disagree with the fact that one, all men cheat. It's natural for men to cheat. I disagree with the fact that there isn't a value in how a man treats a woman. I think that
And I actually think that is what a high value man is. I know Kevin Summers has this other definition,
yeah,
but from my understanding, like coming up in the world, a high value man was always like men who like were attentive. It's like how they treat their woman and how they treat themselves.
talking
It
about
has
chivalry.
less to do
That's
with
what I.
money, but more with character.
That's
That's
what
what
I
it
would
had to
say is
do
a
with.
high value
I
person.
respect that, but based on
I
the
agree with that.
definition,
Yeah. Because I feel like those
Right.
are the
This is
type of men. Hold on, but those are the type of men that women seek after most of the time. I mean, yes, you got to have money, but you don't have to be
You said
super rich. You don't have to be Elon Musk rich, right? You just have to be able to provide for yourself and your family, and then also treat your woman and yourself well. That's high value,
that
from my
costs a lot of
understanding.
money.
Kevin Samuels came in with a whole different
Another
thing.
key thing too. Another key thing. That whole 10K thing, right? That 10K a month only applies if you live in Atlanta.
I'm
If
gonna
you
leave.
Oh
lived in
my
New
God,
York,
this is no. The
you lived in
definition
San
don't work. The
Francisco.
definition don't work.
If you lived in New York, San Francisco, or any place where the cost of living is higher, then that number goes up. It might be 20,000 a month. So just to add that, I forgot to add that context. So it's not just the 10K a month. It's like wherever
Where region you're
whatever
from.
origin you live in, comparable to what the rate is in Atlanta.
So
So
can I ask you a question, Karan?
yes,
What's your definition of a high value man?
I don't come from that school of thought. I tell women that they need to get with the right guy. And I have two types of guys: the right guy, the wrong guy. And how you would classify that is, and like I said, I have to write this damn book, but I call it the dating assessment. Whereas you go through, it's not just a checklist, but you have to be wary of the right guy for you versus the wrong guy for you at the time too. Because sometimes you could get with somebody who might be the right guy, but the time is wrong, and then that could throw everything off. So that's what I push. I push for you qualifying a guy that's going to treat you right, that wants commitment, that wants monogamy, right? Despite how much money he makes. Because I even looked at the comments in this video, that Kevin Samuels video, and there was guys in there talking about, I'm a high value man, and I don't want no other woman. I'm loyal to my wife. So that automatically discounts this theory that, oh yeah, a man is supposed to cheat, or all men, it's not natural for men to be monogamous and all that stuff. So what I'm saying is, you need to get with a guy who has a monogamous mindset. Yes, you want him to make a certain amount of money. You don't want to deal with a guy who can't afford to take care of anything. But my thing is that you can't put so much emphasis on a guy making a certain amount of money, because if you're not within that network of men, that's a problem. That's one thing I do agree with Kevin. He talked about that. If you don't have that network of men, then you're gonna have a very hard time attracting that so-called high value man. Two, the higher we from what we see, and there is a study, I just can't remember where it's at. If I find it, I'll put it in the description. But the more a man makes, right, the less likely, or the more likely he is to cheat. Not that it's a direct correlation that if you make more money, you're going to cheat, but cheating and infidelity is based on the opportunity. So more money gives you more opportunities,
Can I
right?
add something?
Go ahead, Sherry.
I think that there's a correlation between how many men, in conjunction with how many different baby mamas a man has. I feel like he's lowered in value if he has multiple baby mamas and multiple children, because like, how can you, depending on your salary, how can you afford to effectively take care of all of those children and then still want to be with someone and have a possible child with that person too?
Good point.
But according to Kevin Samuels, that wouldn't really matter, because Nick Cannon has,
Oh my
tons
God.
of children. And
Nick
according to
Cannon is
Kevin
not a high
Samuels,
value man at this point.
That's
I
a
don't
good
care how
point.
much money.
well, according to Kevin
No, Sherry.
Samuels, Nick
No,
Cannon
Sherry.
is a high
He's a
value
high.
man.
Nick
According
Cannon
to
is a
those
high value
definitions
man.
that
I mean, that is
Koran put the slide up, Nick Cannon is a high value man according to Kevin Samuels, and that's what I don't get.
Well, salute to Nick. How's it going, Nick?
the baddies should be throwing themselves at me.
I get that, but I don't know, Kimmy.
We got some backup tonight. We got some men on the panel. We got some high value men in training on the panel. They had good perspectives.
Yeah.
So we're not
So yeah,
outnumbered.
what side is winning? What side is winning? Monogamy is natural, or monogamy is not natural?
Sir, I'm trying to save you. We got some guys on here that understand a little bit about science, and he brought up a point that I'm definitely going to use to get you in the debate
I would
about
love to
natural.
hear it. I
We're
would
not gonna
love
go
to hear
there.
it.
No, we're not gonna bail you out. We got to talk behind the scenes. I know I'm supposed to get
Oh,
back to you.
behind the scenes. Okay, not a
You
problem.
did get to me. Yeah. You did get back to me though. But we were gonna talk about that. But so It seems like we're gonna stick on this high value man topic. I'm gonna save the polygamy topic. I'm gonna get somebody in a polygamous relationship when we talk about that topic. So let's stay on this topic, sir. So I know you have interesting perspectives. I'm curious to see where you stand on this. So I know that you think monogamy is not natural. So I don't want to ask you that. But I do want to know, do you feel that it's natural for a man to cheat?
I think we label it cheating.
What is it called then?
Oh God. Okay. Go ahead.
What is it called?
I mean, our dedication to monogamy is really a cultural thing, don't you think? Other cultures practice polygamy. Polygamy has been more prevalent in history than monogamy.
I just want to know, what is it called? You said we label it as cheating. So what is it
I don't know
called?
about that, sir. I don't know about that.
Are you telling me polygamy has not been more practiced than monogamy in history?
I don't know.
I'm asking. Okay, what's your opinion?
Okay,
Maybe we don't have the information up right now. I'm pretty sure
but you have to define what. That's why I was going to put it on the screen, because we have
multiple
to define.
partners. Having a man
No, that's not polygamy. That's not. And now I'm saying
we're talking about men.
Polygamy is not having multiple partners. That's promiscuity. That's not polygamy.
I'm saying, okay, polygamy is people mutually engaging in relationships, understanding they're more than one partner, right?
No,
that's my. Say it again.
I'm gonna put it on the screen for you. You're gonna read. This is a reading channel. We're gonna read. All right.
Let's go. Let's see. Polygamy.
Can you see it, or you need me to make it bigger?
I can see, guys. States of married many spouses.
That's what it is. The practice of marrying multiple spouses. When a man is married to more than one wife at the same time, sociologists call this polygyny. When a woman is married to more than one husband at a time, it's called polyandry, which does happen. It's not as prevalent as polygyny, but it does happen. In contrast to polygamy, monogamy is a marriage consisting of only two parties. Like monogamy, the term polygamy is often used as a de facto sense.
Okay, so if a man has multiple wives, are you telling me this is the first time in history we're hearing of this?
No. What I'm saying is the act of having more than one partner doesn't make you polygamous. It's an actual union. It's a marriage.
Okay, so we're only talking about having more than one sexual partner.
That's promiscuity. That's not polygamy.
I'm saying, but is that the topic we're discussing right now? Yeah,
well, all right. So the topic we were discussing was, should we allow high value men to cheat, right? And that's based off the yes. Should we just allow them to cheat? Yes.
Who's gonna stop them if they choose to cheat? Who's gonna stop them?
That's a good point.
I'm saying, like, how are you gonna police people's behavior?
The laws that me and Koron is about to put in place to stop.
yo, if Kimmy would have her way, there would be so many dudes locked up right now. So many dudes do a hard time.
So you saying no? So answer the question though, because is it natural for men to cheat?
But cheat now, like cheating that word,
no. I'm gonna define it. I didn't think I needed to define it.
Is it natural for men to be more sexually attracted to more than one woman? Absolutely.
No, that's not what it is. No.
So you're telling me you're talking about men being committed to one? Hold on. Are we talking about men being committed to one woman yet stepping outside of that commitment to deal with other women?
Promising your wife that she's the only one. You telling her that this is your wife and you don't have no one else, and then you decide to go get someone else.
Can I pose it this way? Can I pose it in a more interesting way? Right. So, do you believe a man and woman coming together and joining into a committed relationship as something that is special?
Yes, to them.
Right, to them, it is special, right? It is something unique, and it comes with its own challenges. Correct? Meaning, these two people chose to get together and forego all. Right?
That's true.
Which means there has to be some force of resistance to make that union special. If it was effortless, it would be very common. It'd be very, very common, and people would enter into relationships effortlessly with no problems. But cheating
No,
as
sir,
we
that's
hold on,
not how.
cheating as we frame it in society is quite an issue. So much so that billions of dollars are made in the court system because when guys step out of relationships, they fall down the slippery slope into divorce court, child support payments, XYZ. And there's nothing, they're not going to change the laws. There's too much people making money off of it. But what they have done is capitalized on a very unique trait known to man, which is to want multiple women, different women. When you choose to be with Launch Pro, it might be unique. It is your choice. You know that there are other beautiful women. I do. When I've been in relationships, I've still seen other beautiful women, right? But you've made a commitment to one person. But that doesn't mean temptation isn't around. If that was the case, there would be no cheating for men. Like then there would be no temptation. There'd be absolutely no temptation if this thing was natural.
Okay. So like I was telling Holden earlier, right? You're not Russell Westbrook. You're not Floyd Mayweather. You're not Rick Ross.
Opportunity, Koron. Opportunity. If you had $1 million,
it don't just
at Home
happen.
Depot would be getting it in.
No, but it don't just happen like that. You put yourself in position to get these women. You don't just
look at Tiger Woods. Look at Tiger. Look at what happened to Tiger Woods. He was a square his entire life.
And you know what? And I was going to get to that. The guys who were nerds, right? Because Kevin Samuels, because the lady jumped on his panel and said, "Oh, she don't want a nerd" or something like that. He said, "Why are you calling them nerds?" A lot of them are nerds, and they never had women. So when they finally get money, and they see all these women, they don't know how to act.
But you know what's interesting about that, Koron? And I know you know what I'm talking about, brother.
Go ahead, man.
Dudes who have quote unquote womanized in their youth don't have this issue.
God, here you go.
Look at him. Look at that smile. We know what that smile is about. When you have done that in your 20s and you ready to settle down, it is basically corralled and out of your system, and it's much easier to go. But if you don't, if you get to your age, when you finally get the money in your late 20s, early 30s, and they just threw you in the candy store after 30 years, bro. They just threw you in the candy store. You want everything, right? But if as you're in your 18s, high school, early years of college, you're doing your thing, you get it out, then all that's done. Now you're looking to build a relationship. You're looking to build a family, career, legacy. Them chicks don't phase you anymore. The big juicy booty don't say you already had enough. There's nothing else behind that.
Let me say this, man. Like I consider myself
go to PC, political correctness.
I consider myself to be an alpha male. As a grown ass man, I will not sneak around. If I want to do something, I'm going to do it. Period. So I cannot sympathize or feel bad for Tiger Woods or any man that decides that he wants to sneak around and live like a little boy. So all I'm saying is,
do you not believe in process?
Well, we're talking
do you not
about,
believe in process? And somebody hasn't undergone the process in a particular.
We're talking about a very few minority of men. The average guys don't relate to.
Are they human beings that are subject to the same rules that all human beings are, including mental development?
The average everyday guy, I'm not giving him that excuse. He has to work on getting a female. He's not just getting a woman like that.
Oh, you talking about the Home Depot dude? Dunkin' Donuts dude?
Home Depot dude, dude that work at the post office, any old dude.
I agree with you.
You're going to have to work at it. And just because you see a female that you're tempted by, that doesn't mean that female wants you. So there goes the temptation argument.
So let me ask you this, right? If men got women the same way women got men, do you think men would have a proclivity to cheat?
Wait, what way is that? Just so we're clear.
I mean,
Koron knows what I'm talking about.
I mean,
right, but can we know?
Yeah.
Even with
for example,
because I understood the question. I was about to.
I know that women are not the aggressors when it comes to relationships, sex, anything, right? Women are attractive naturally. We make the approach, right? 9 times out of 10, a woman's not going to approach you. You're going to approach a woman, right? So therefore, on a daily basis, these women have a lot of dudes approaching, this, inappropriate, appropriate, and everything in between type of comments, because dudes trying. it gets dull after a while. You know, at a certain age, a woman done heard everything. You got to become more creative as a dude to get attention, right? Especially if you're a regular dude, right?
Yeah. 100%.
So if it was reversed, right? Would men have a proclivity to cheat if that was the case?
Well, see, here's the problem. What
Okay.
you're not understanding is that the reasons why men and women cheat is very similar. It's to either establish a connection or they're just promiscuous. There's just
Oh, we got
just
numbers on that, Koron? We got scientific facts behind that? We got
I could
scientific facts
provide
behind
a whole load of sources.
I think
Oh,
it's
we got to talk.
biology. Like,
I'm gonna sort it out now.
Oh,
Now
you
this,
said,
yeah, go ahead.
like
now,
Two is
men
Stu, you
unfair.
said it's biology?
got balls. Like we after a couple of days with no action, it's like, where's the action at? Like, I'm not a woman, so I can't speak from their perspective, but I don't think it's a good thing.
Let me tell you something. The older you get, women want it more than you.
Okay.
Facts.
They come into their prime later than men do. We come into our prime earlier. They come into their sexual prime, and that's why you see a lot of women now, like, yo, they want it more than their husbands.
Okay.
And we trying to chill. We trying to lay on the lazy boy.
Anyway, but hold on. So I want to say is that because of the social constructs of gender that we created, what we don't realize is that on a psychological level, I know I'm gonna get a lot of backlash, but this is the truth, and I definitely got to study for this. Men or women on a psychological level are basically the same. And the reason why I say that is because you talked about cheating. Do you know that women are cheating at a higher rate today than they did previously? And it's very similar to at the rate that men cheat.
But now it's different.
Hold on, but the reason for that is opportunity.
Tinder.
Cheating, there you go. That's one opportunity. So right now, because you have a lot of women in the workforce, women have gained a greater opportunity to cheat just as much as men do. So now there is no real difference besides, like you said, the approach. Typically, it's on the man. You know, hey, how's it going? You know, my name is this. Boom, boom, boom. But if you look at where affairs take place the most, which is on the job or at school, right? It's always in that network.
I got a question. Are they aggressive? Are they the aggressors when it comes to their cheating, or are they passively cheating? Meaning, are they opportunistically cheating, or are they aggressively cheating? Are they forward? Okay, great answer. That's what
that depends on how you look at it.
I'm talking about. We can only generalize, Koron. We don't know every single individual. We can only generalize.
You know, so Neek, you know when a woman's throwing a sign at you.
But what I'm saying is she approaching the dude like, yo, what's up?
But the woman don't have to approach you.
Exactly, that's my point.
You know the sign a woman gives you when she's interested in you.
That is my point.
You don't gotta say it, but she could throw that sign. How many mean? Come on.
I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing. I agree with you.
I'm not disagreeing. But that is their way of initiating.
I agree with you. I am not disagreeing. But it is opportunistic. You have to put forth the action to actually make that follow through. She is throwing out the bait, but if you don't bite it, it goes nowhere.
Right.
Right?
Right.
What would happen to that level of cheating on their side if we weren't biting?
I think it may shift to women a little bit more. That's what I was getting to, but it won't be that much more because.
Hold on. What do you mean by it won't be? What you mean? It wouldn't be more if guys would not take the bait? Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is it might shift the woman's rate higher, but because men and women generally cheat for the same reasons, it won't make a difference. That's what I'm really trying to say. That's my overall grander point. It's just the approach is different.
You saying men and women cheat? What does it take for a woman to cheat?
The same thing it takes for a man to cheat. It could be not getting the attention from the house. It could be not getting attention at home. Getting the attention.
We know dudes that cheat just because the wind blows, bro. Like, the sun came up.
We just was talking before you got on that there are women with higher body counts. High body count.
Women will always be able to get higher body counts than men. Always, bro.
That's my point. So you have women today that are promiscuous too. Like,
Say it
don't
again?
get it. You have women today that are promiscuous. That's a fact. You cannot tell me that's not true.
Okay, but the most promiscuous dude and the most promiscuous woman, she's always gonna be able to get the higher body count, bro.
I might hear to compare the levels of promiscuity between men and women.
What I'm saying is diametrically opposed because of her nature and our nature. We have to work to get it. They could point. Yo, bro, you good? What's up? That's it. How many videos we saw during the pandemic of women like, you know?
I get what you're trying to say. I get what you're trying to say, and you're right to a degree. All I'm saying is that men and women cheat for the same reason. So that's why I don't think the numbers would change much.
But do you think women let's say men and women cheat for the same reasons, right?
Yeah.
Who would gain more from being able to quote unquote cheat? Who gets greater satisfaction from being able to cheat?
Well, hold on. We know that a lot of people, cheaters, are definitely the benefits is short term.
No, I understand I understand the shallowness and the emptiness of
you start
cheating.
feeling guilty
But
and
I'm
stuff.
saying, who would benefit or get the most from being able to cheat? Who do you think derives more pleasure or satisfaction from the actual cheating process?
Men.
Thank you. Men.
I don't know. I get where you're going.
There is work. Women, there's no work.
I get where
I'm
you're
not saying
going.
it's because it's work.
Okay. So why are you saying that, Kimmy?
Because I feel like when women cheat, we get more backlash for it. When men cheat, they don't get a backlash. They actually get praised, and it's beneficial.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah, that's why I was saying it, because you said who
I mean,
gets
that's
more
an interesting
pleasure.
point, and you're right. I agree with that.
You said who gets
There
more
is that
pleasure, and I
element.
think that's the pleasure.
Yeah, but I agree with you. But what I was pointing out is that the work kind of like the effort that you expend when you finally get to the point of getting what you want. There's a satisfaction in that for dudes because you put in work.
There's also an effort in hiding it too, though.
Right.
A woman got to put on some days she might have to pull a double header. Ain't too many men pulling off a double header. You know what I mean? I don't get too graphic to be on YouTube.
Wait, what is it? What is a double header, Koron? What is
Doing
that?
Doing it twice. They got to do it twice.
Bro,
yeah,
listen,
a woman might have just left the hotel.
That's one area we will never be able to outwork a woman. You cannot. It's impossible.
So it can go both. The workload can go both ways. Is what I'm saying.
I'm not jacking
I
that.
understand what you're saying, Grandma. I'm picking up what you put down. So I understand. We don't got to get too crazy on here because
we ain't got to get too crazy. We ain't trying to get. Every week there's always something, man. But go ahead.
No, what I'm saying is that Kimmy has a very interesting point, which is true. This is the societal pressures of shaming women for doing the same thing that a man would do. But what I was trying to point out is that what guys, because our nature is to hunt, so to speak, right? There's a satisfaction in the climax of the hunt. You know what I'm saying? Getting what you want, this, that, and the third.
Right.
There is no hunt for women.
Right.
There's just no hunt. Like there's no what I'm gonna say, how I'm gonna approach.
Unless she's bagging the Tiger Woods, the Kanye.
Say it again?
Unless she's bagging the Tiger Woods, the Kanye, the Drake.
No, I get that. No,
but
we agree on
this
that.
is my point. Like shorty at McDonald's, if she bad enough, she could get a Tiger Woods. Ain't no way dude at McDonald's getting to Beyonce.
To keep him though, like she could get him for a night.
Hey, but you know what? I say this.
But there's no way a dude could get a dude at Dunkin' Donuts could get Beyonce for a Rihanna for a night, bro.
No, not Rihanna, but you do got gigolos out there.
And look at what they gotta become, bro. You gotta be in the gym 6 hours a day. You gotta be, bro. Look at what you gotta put in. Look at the work you gotta put in to even be a gigolo, so to speak, to even possibly have access.
It's not easy.
So let's drive this point home. Where were you trying to go originally? Because I know we like to get off of these little side.
Dude, when do we not?
Yeah, I know. I know.
We just had like 3-4 topics just
I
now,
know.
bro.
I
Like,
know. I know. I want to get back to the main what you were trying to
about
say.
the cheating?
Yeah, because we talking about the high value men cheating.
I disagree. Well, one of your statements I disagree with is that men and women cheat for the same reasons because it's a
Yes,
different outcome. I disagree with that. You know,
they
I'm not
cheat.
saying women don't have their needs and they're doing what they do, but there's no benefit in being quote unquote promiscuous for women. You expose yourself to a high level of, you know what I'm saying? Like the
Pause.
shame, the ridicule, and all these other things.
Okay, so
Like
I'm gonna
as
put some
Kimmy
stats
said.
on the screen. I'm gonna put some stats on the screen because I like to speak from data, right? And like I said, on a psychological level, men and women are more alike than not alike. All that men
I
from
want to know
Mars,
what that means, though. I really want to know what that means.
all that men are from Mars. You heard that men are from Mars, woman from Venus. You heard that before, right?
Of
That's a
course.
load of crap. I'm
So
trying to tell
okay,
you,
so
that's a load of
basically, are you
crap.
saying we think the same? Like men and women
Very
think the
similar.
same?
Very
I don't
similar.
know.
I vehemently disagree,
disagree.
brother. I completely disagree. I don't.
Listen, I
Who are
respect
these
it.
women, bro? That you come across, bro?
No, I don't come across women. I come across studies.
Okay.
See, because when you get back
Okay.
to when you talk about your observable reality, that's
Oh,
all
here we
anecdotal.
go. You coming for
That's
me?
all anecdotal stuff. We can't go off the anecdotal what we see because sometimes we have certain biases and we look for confirmations. So in order to remove those biases, we have to look at surveys, studies, things of that nature, where
I
it's
agree.
a
I agree.
greater view of what's going on in the world. But I can't pull up the study where the men and the woman are the same. I would have to take me some time to find it because I got literally folders upon folders of stuff. And to remember the title of that article, I'm not doing it right now. But what I do want to show is my relationships in America, if I could find it. Um the study I always go back to, it's a powerful study because it has all the numbers for what we go on in the country. But go ahead, continue. I'm gonna pull it up.
I think men and women want the same thing at the end of the day: a loyal partner that's attractive and is beneficial and helpful.
I can agree.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
And I'm not saying that there aren't differences between men and women, but what I'm saying is we're
But the cheating
basically
part.
even
Yeah.
the cheating part. They cheat for the same reasons you cheat.
But
But you
bro, to
know,
say that, you would have to say that women think the same as men, and that we know that's not true.
All right. Well,
but I
We
feel like
I'll
channel
do
things.
a video on it.
It's
I'll
like
do a video on it.
conquest for men, though.
Yeah.
I'll do a video on it. Hold on. Let me what I want to look up is I want to look up. You said what was that last statement you said? When I said I was gonna pull this up, you said something about men and women. They was something different.
About the sex, I think it was what the relationships and sex.
Yo, my phone's
Okay.
about to die. I gotta go.
Let's
Yo, it's
see.
been an
All
honor.
right, brother. It was
Catch
great
y'all.
having you on, man. Definitely. Hopefully to hear from you again. We on here every Thursday.
Amen. I'm with it.
All right. So what I want to look up was you said something about the sexual. Okay. Where's it
You
at?
said that women cheat for the same reasons as men, and I was like,
Right.
I don't know
Right.
about that.
Right. Okay. Okay. How many people have Americans had sex with? I want to go there. Right. We're gonna go here. And when you start to look at a lot of these charts, right? So this is a randomized sample survey study, right? This represents the population of the United States, right? So you have here in the bronze heterosexual men, and the red heterosexual woman, right? And let me so you can see it a little better. Okay, cool, right? So this is showing the amount of sexual partners men and women have. Look at the chart. It's roughly the same for men and women. There's very little difference in the amount of partners men and women have.
But how does that equal that they do it for the same reasons?
So all I'm trying to say is that because this is about sexual bodies, this is about body count.
I know,
Right?
but you were saying that they think the same or they do it for the same reasons. And where I'm trying to understand, why do you feel like they do it for the
All right, you
same
trying to have
reasons,
me
even
going to
though the
that?
numbers are the same
All right,
or
I'm
similar,
gonna come out
let's
of here.
say.
I'm gonna come. No, the numbers is practically the same, and that goes across the board for a lot of the stuff that's in here. Like you see a lot of commonality between men and women. I can't do it right now because I have to find it. I do have it in my body bag folder. I just can't remember the name of it right
The
now.
body bag folder.
I have a body bag folder. So like anytime you hear me make a point, is because I read something on it. Like I don't just have observable reality. That's just you can't bring that into a real conversation when you're really trying to learn something. So I always try to make sure I have the stats and facts. But yes, I have a meta analysis. I'm pretty sure you know what a meta analysis is, Neat.
Coming
Which
from me
shows,
and my observable reality.
yes, I'm sorry, man. You're observing reality, man. But men and women are very similar. And like when I say they cheat for the same reasons, like I told you, it's really two reasons why we cheat. It's just to get our rocks off or really establish a connection. Now, for a man and woman in individual cases, that might look different, but it all goes back to that. A lot of it is you're not getting something out of your relationship that you feel you want, so you go get a third party. You feel like she's not giving you enough sex. For a woman, that might look like he's not giving me enough tension. And this guy at the job keeps flirting with me, and he's fine as hell. And then one day we actually gonna go out on that date.
That's a different reason. That's literally a different. You just described two different reasons.
It can go both ways, but that's all I'm saying is still to establish a connection. Now that might look different in certain ways. Like you're looking at the tool, I'm looking at really like what the tool does. So there's different ways to bake a cake.
No, I understand. You said I'm looking at the tool. You're looking at what the tool does, but you're saying it's for different reasons. Then we got to look at the tool.
Sorry about that, Kimmy.
Yo, you good?
But yeah. So you making me want to go to my body bag, man.
I'm saying it's a logic issue. It's like if we're saying we're looking at the result, yeah, the result is almost identical. I agree with you. But then to say it's for the same reason, we have to look at the mechanism of the tool. You can pound a nail into a piece of plywood with a screwdriver, just like a hammer.
Right, exactly.
It'll give you the same result, but it's two different tools.
Right, two different tools. But the tool, we don't care about that. We care about the end. We don't care about the means.
But then if that's the case, then you can't say they think the same. They do it the same. You can't say that without looking at the tool. I didn't say they do it.
I said that they do it for the same reason. Now that might look different because the way our society is set up is we don't have a society where it's equal, where it's like, okay, men could approach women could approach men. How our society is set up is that the men do the approaching most of the time.
Okay, so why do women, in your opinion, want children?
That's what we're put here to do. I mean, for the most
part. No, I'm talking about women. Your specific views on why a woman would want to have a child.
I mean, it's the same reason why it's basic biology.
No, I'm saying, what is your opinion when a woman says, I want to have a child, this, that, and what is your opinion about why she would want to have a child?
I can answer that.
Go ahead.
I feel like women want children for multiple reasons. Like I think it starts as a feeling and then it grows. So maybe when you're younger, it starts as a feeling and then it grows into I want to have a baby for this man, or I think I could do a better job. Hold on. I think I could do a better job at this than how I was raised, or I would really like to put a good human in the world, or building purposes, legacy. Like, what is the point of working so hard for what? Not just for myself and then I die. It's got to be passed on in some way, form, or fashion. So
I think that last part that Sherry just said is what most dudes would normally say. Not that women don't say that, but the majority of dudes would normally say what Sherry just said. That last part.
Which is what? Repeat that again.
I'm saying the last part that Sherry because Sherry said,
legacy building.
For women, it starts with a feeling and they want to do this. Some of the majority of ladies that I've come across have said, that's part of being a woman, completes them and this, that, and the third. And then Sherry said, legacy and stuff like that. Most dudes, when we talk, they lead with legacy. They lead with, I want to do a better job than my father. I want to, you know what I'm saying? There's different reasons. And it might be associated to biology. I'm not sure.
But why
Karan
It
got
else
it.
is.
would women, in your opinion, why else would women want to have children?
It is.
Say it again.
In your opinion, why else would women want to have children?
No, I'm not saying it's incorrect. I'm saying that the language we use to describe what we want is different because we filter our experiences differently, and there's a reason for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure there's a biological reason. I will do the research, Karan, so we can actually have the science talk that you love to have.
I'm actually in my body bag folder right now looking for
But
this
I'm just saying
course.
that we see it. We can't possibly see it the same because women have a different experience in life. There are things that I will never fear that women fear. You understand? Like even when it comes to violence, there's
Okay.
something that we as men have to face that women don't necessarily, and that is altercations with other men. And that's why we are less likely to get into altercation because we understand it could end up lethal.
All right. So yeah, we going. So since I love to source up. I do this all day. This is the type of stuff I sit down and read
Yo, but
on
that could be
a
confirmation
daily
bias right there.
basis. No, no, sir. You want to know something? As a researcher, I start with a question. I don't. Some people. This is how they do their research.
Let's
Oh,
see.
why black men are taller?
Transgender.
You're asking a question that's a leading question to look for answers to certify whatever to substantiate whatever claims you're trying to make. I don't do that. I just ask, do men and women think the same? That's an objective question. It's not me trying to prove a point. So no, I don't. There's a methodology to my research. I ask
Terms of
objective questions.
personality, cognitive ability, leadership.
So we're gonna the Mars Venus sex difference appeared to be as mythical as the man in the moon. A 2005 analysis of 46 meta-analysis. Anytime you see meta-analysis, that's serious. That's not just one study. That's multiple studies done confirming the same thing. They come to the same conclusion. So anytime you see them, they have any meta-analysis, that's serious study. That's not just we went on survey.com and filled out a form. No, this is some real deal stuff. Okay. Right. So a 2005 analysis of 46 meta-analysis that were conducted during the last 2 decades of the 20th century underscores that men and women are basically alike in terms of personality, cognitive ability, and leadership. Psychologist Janet Shibley Hyde, PhD of the University of Wisconsin in Madison, discovered that males and females from childhood to adulthood are more alike than different on most psychological variables, resulting in what she calls a gender similarities hypothesis. Using meta-analytical techniques that revolutionized the study of gender differences starting in the 1980s, she analyzed how prior research assessed the impact of gender on many psychological traits and abilities, including cognitive abilities, verbal and nonverbal communication, aggression, leadership, self-esteem, moral reasoning, and motor behaviors. Hyde observed that across dozens of studies consistent with consistent with the gender similarities hypothesis, gender differences had either no or a very small effect on most psychological variables examined. Only a few main differences appeared compared with women. Men could throw further, were more physically aggressive, masturbate more, and held more positive attitudes about sex in uncommitted relationships. That's the only differences. So on a psychological level, what this lady found was that we are more than likely the same. The differences are the basic social constructs that we come up with of feminine and
But hold
masculine.
on.
That's
We're talking about, but right there, we're talking about the differences in sexual behavior, correct? That's the topic.
right. What we're
But
talking
right
about,
here, she lays out that there are differences here, not
right,
every
compared with
single
women,
way.
men could throw further. This is the differences. Men could throw farther. Yes, we know that males
But
and
that's the
females
topic.
biologically are different. Men are stronger, right?
Uh-huh.
Were physically more aggressive, masturbated more, and held more positive attitudes about sex in uncommitted relationships. That's it.
But she's describing what the competency, the ability cognitively and things. Yeah, I agree with that. Women are just
From a
as smart as
psychological,
men. Men are just as smart and capable in those fields. So,
right?
Right. Yeah, and these Arab men, there are women you might come across who have similar personalities like other men. Absolutely, some
So you
leadership
need so
skills.
what you can do, you can look up this gender similarities hypothesis. It's going to talk about the things we're talking about.
But
Men and women,
hypotheses aren't facts.
it's a scientific hypothesis. It's not just your hypothesis.
I understand, but it's still a hypothesis, which means it's not
Right.
necessarily a fact.
Well, okay. A scientific theory is the organization of facts. It's not facts. It's just the organization of the facts. So when you give a scientific hypothesis, right, that is, you give that more value than just a regular hypothesis. So what I'm saying is, based off of the meta-analysis, which is the key word in that source that I read, right, you see that men and women from a psychological perspective are basically the same, which would include what you're talking about, how we see the reasons why we cheat, right? The things that we've been talking about from a mental perspective. All of the differences that we make are just based on how our society is set up. That's it. That's it. It's how our society. So based on how our society is set up, a man is more common to go out of his way to approach a woman versus the woman, what she
So you're
does is
saying that's based on society?
based on society. That's all the differences. That's where the differences lie. And the fact that men are stronger
So
than women.
if it wasn't because of society, women would approach men at the same rate as men
Right.
approach
If we had maybe a hunter-gatherer society, which was based on egalitarianism, then we would have more equality. You would see more women doing some of the things
But
that
they
men.
did a study on that in was it Norway or Greenland, and it was
I know the
completely
study you're talking about.
right, and when it doesn't reflect what it wasn't
Did you read the
equal.
limitations?
Women
Did you read
say
the
again?
limitations of that study? I actually got that study. I could pull that up.
Yeah, pull it up. What happened? Men went into the more dominant fields, and women went into more comfortable fields. That's exactly what happened, and so it wasn't equality necessarily. They
You know
still
why?
grouped
But
themselves.
the reason
Sorry.
for that is because the people were already conditioned. So it's not like you gotta.
Correct.
No. All right. You know what? I'm gonna pull up the study. I'm gonna pull it up.
Okay. Let's go with what you're
You
saying,
said that
right? So
Norway.
if
What was it?
everybody's already,
Norway.
huh?
You said Norway, right? You remember the
I
name of it?
believe so. I gotta Google it. Hold on.
It is Norway. I just can't remember the name. That's
I
what
forgot
always.
the name of it, but I think you know the study I'm
I
talking
read it.
about.
I actually used it in a video.
The most egalitarian society on the face of the planet, and people still sorted themselves out, even because it was made so equal. The
I'm talking about in history.
extremely
I'm not
say
talking about
again?
today. I'm talking about the old hunter-gatherer societies. Not today. Today you have patriarchy. Yo, dude, do you understand that the people today? I don't even want to go there. I was gonna say something crazy.
No, yeah. Let's
Yeah, I was
let's
gonna
keep
say
you going. We
something.
ain't trying to get nobody
let's,
canceled.
let's stay on the politically correct side.
Yeah, no, you you got my number, brother. We gonna talk about
Yeah,
that.
we'll talk. We'll talk more about that, and we'll pull that Norway study out.
Off the record.
Yeah, we'll talk. Yeah, off the record, we can have a real deal conversation. But there's a reason why. But in that Norway study, the limitations explains that. It says why that happens. It's not. It's hard to do that study because you don't have like the people are like you're dealing with people that are conditioned already, and it's not like you're dealing with some people that never experienced that lifestyle. Got me? So like,
Right, I
that's
understand.
part of the
So
limitation.
what would you suggest? Because the condition is there. That means the brain has formed itself and orchestrated itself in a different pattern, let's say. How then do you uncondition societal constructs out without changing the other things that they benefited from having societal constructs?
You technically can't, and that's why
Right.
you got to be careful with some of the stuff you read with psychology, because psychology is not a unified field theory. Like when we talk about evolutionary biology, I don't care what belief you have, you're not overturning that.
But psychology is like theoretical physics.
It's not, but it's not unified. Like it's not.
It's
There's
theoretical physics for the mind. That's literally what psychology is.
It's a work in progress. The strongest form of psychology is evolutionary psychology. But I want to let's get back on track. You know what I mean? Let's get back on track because I
I'm
know
trying
we
to get
can.
us to 5 hours, Koron. Come on, man.
No, we're not going 5 hours. I think
we already had 2.5.
I think we beat to death. I think we beat to death the whole high value man thing. So I know, Nick, you think that men who are high value, they should cheat. Because
I
that's
said,
just
whoa, yo.
life is.
I didn't say that you should, bro. I'm not trying to green light cheating. I ain't trying to green light cheating. I'm just simply saying it's a higher probability because you have more resources to take care of. You can have multiple. It's expensive to cheat, I'm assuming, because you got to take care of this one and that one. So if you have more overabundance and you have that disposition, yeah, you're gonna
high value men shouldn't cheat. They should look at polygamy. Polygamy is better. Now, the one problem is they're gonna have is in America, bigamy is illegal, and you can go to jail for that. So don't think you're gonna marry one wife in Utah and then marry another wife in New York. You get caught, you're gonna go to jail. So I'm not, listen, I'm not out here advising anyone to do anything that's against the law. But what I do want to say is that I think that polygamy, based on what we read, so now we know that polygamy is not to be mistaken with promiscuity, which is promiscuity is just, it's like cheating. Like you just could go have sex with who you want to. Polygamy is an actual commitment. It's an actual organization to what you were talking about. Like, buying the houses and having them set up in a certain way and having this one over here and another over here and another over there, right? But everyone's on the same page. It's a commitment. So even in a polygamous situation, a man is not supposed to just go out and just sleep with whoever. So just because you're in a polygamous relationship, that doesn't give you the right to go outside and just sleep. That's still cheating, for the record. So that's the difference. So do you think that in America, right, the land of no real standard, just low, do you think that maybe since we're about the bag, we should open up polygamy for those that have the means to financially take care of multiple spouses? Because if we're going to have polygamy, we're going to have a standard on it. It's not just going to be a dude from Walmart with one over here, one over there, one over there, and they all sharing and they all living in a 2-bedroom, and they're making it happen to try to, because they need to get together to live. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Neo, right? He's the example for tonight. He should have the ability to maybe marry multiple women. What are your thoughts on that? Let's go. Who wants to go first? No one? I do want to know how women feel about polygamy. That's what the topic really is.
How
People
women
can
feel about
do what they want to do. Would I ever entertain a polygamous situation? Absolutely not.
Why
I
not
ain't
though?
doing it.
Your needs is taken care of. You don't have to worry about working. You don't have to worry about anything, right? Now you do look. He's only going to be there on Tuesday.
I'm not in the business. I'm not in the business of sharing a man. I'm not in the business of combining germs and juices. I ain't doing that shit.
I am done.
Simple as that.
Combining
And to be honest,
The
I
reason why
can't
I
be
think
in a
monogamy is
situation. I
natural
can't
because
be in a situation where it's like a harem of women. You know what I'm saying? And there's competing energies. I'm not
You're
doing
number
that
one.
crap.
No, there's no competition. You're number one.
Yeah, okay, but guess what? In polygamous situations, I'm telling you straight up because I've watched numerous documentaries and numerous videos on polygamy, and let me tell you something. Like the average 1-to-1 relationship is, marred in in negativity at times. When you add in another another person or another two, it just amplifies. And female energy is just I love women, but then I don't at the same time.
That'd be the sisterhood. What do they call it? The sister
Whoa.
vibe.
Your distance.
Launch, don't get canceled.
Go ahead, Kimmy
How
or
am I
Sherry.
gonna get canceled? What are you talking about?
Don't get canceled. Listen, they listening.
Oh please.
Kimmy or Sherry.
I
Yeah. Go ahead, Kimmy.
I think I missed the end of what Launch said.
No, we want to know how you feel. Forget what Launch said, because Launch is she's against it. We want to know, would you be open to look, I'm a man, I'm a high value man, and I would never cheat on you.
No, and I think I
But-
said that. Like I don't
No,
I would
but
never
we
cheat
talking about
on you.
polygamy. No, but listen, we talking about polygamy. This is not cheating. This is look.
No, I'm not into
You're gonna be my
polygamy.
number one wife.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be number one, but we're gonna have 2 and 3. Don't worry, they're gonna live in their own house.
No,
Their house not gonna be as big as yours.
no.
And I'm gonna be with you 3 days out the week. I'm gonna be with them the other 2.
Imagine setting
Why
up
am I getting upset and want to wring your neck?
Yo.
Just by hearing you say that. Like,
This is a
Karan,
clip.
you should let me ask
go
the
out in the
questions,
studio
brother. You
right
should let
now
me ask the
and-
questions.
This
I
is
don't
a
even
clip.
think you lined up the scenario right, Karan. Like you
I did?
because that's going to bring all the smoke. Her house going to be bigger than the other ones. Naturally, the other one's going to fight.
But they're not gonna know that. I'm just telling her because
Too much. A lie for a lie.
I want her
Yo,
to.
Karan, I think right now you're getting your answer. You see the backlash you're getting right now, bro. This is the answer. No.
Nah, but look, here's the reason why I think on top of what we spoke about, Yannick, why monogamy is natural. Because
God.
no, Launch Pro said, she's not in the business of sharing any man and sharing any germs, right? It's unnatural to be having these issues going on with the female body because
So why do men cheat then? If it's unnatural, why do
that's
guys
because they can't
find
help themselves. And they're not
right, okay,
practicing.
so they can't help themselves naturally.
Hey, Sherry, just stay out of
Women
it.
can't help themselves naturally too.
Sherry, just
Say
stay
it
out of
again?
that. Don't worry, I got him. Don't even entertain that. He's whenever we do this debate, he's done.
I don't understand.
When
Yo,
I
I don't
muted my mic,
understand how you say that monogamy is natural for men when there's literally billions being made of men's natural proclivity.
You want to make that the debate? You want to
Say
make
it
that
again?
for just for men? You want to debate monogamy being
no.
natural for men? Because
Say it
either
again?
way, it doesn't matter.
Hold
If you want to,
on, I missed that. Say it again.
do you want to specify that monogamy is natural for men?
No, I don't think it's natural. I think dudes would.
But it's natural for women, but not men.
I think women have more risk. Hold on. I think women risk more when being promiscuous than men do when being promiscuous, health wise. Just not somebody. There's no PG. Is there a PG way of discussing this potential?
Use a big word. Use a big scientific word.
Yeah. During coitus.
Right.
Oh my God, these are clips. But go ahead.
No, I'm just saying it's certain things are much easierly transmitted to a woman than to a man. I've known men who have had coitus with women who have been documentedly infected with certain diseases.
Right. Okay.
And because of the thicker
right.
Yeah. We're lucky enough to walk away. Vice versa, I've also known a lady, first time ever, and I shared that with Sherry.
Right. You said that on the show too.
Right. Caught HIV.
Right.
So I think women do it just naturally by how it's the actors perform are more vulnerable than men are. I'm not saying guys don't get stuff and things like that. I'm just saying the physics of it all.
But sir, you understand?
Does she not get bruised internally?
Okay.
I'm
Well,
asking.
sir, we could agree to disagree respectfully.
Don't do that, Karan.
So yeah, there's bruising that happens on both parties, just on a granular level.
You don't want
Sex,
that Launch Pro smoke, sir. You don't want the Launch Pro smoke.
Oh, no,
whenever
no, no.
sex
I'm
is
just gonna
involved.
automatically agree with Launch Pro at all
No, no,
times.
no, 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 no.
At all times.
No,
Listen,
nah.
I
Don't
see what
even
you
do
give
that.
Karan. I be seeing Karan. So look at his forehead glistening.
Yeah. Oh man,
Yo, listen, he's
got
hot.
the AC off. It's too hot. I
And
mean,
it's still
well,
not working,
too
brother. You need
loud.
another one.
Them
Oh
lights.
no, the AC's off because it's too loud.
You need 40,000 BTUs right now, brother.
Yeah, I got these fans on. They ain't really doing much. But yeah. So Sherry. So okay, did Sherry answer?
Kimmy says she's not with it. Launch Pro definitely ain't with it because you still sweating.
For Sherry, are you
What?
with it?
Am I with the
Polygamy.
The marriage aspect. It's not cheating. It's you're gonna be my first wife because I met you first. And that doesn't mean you're gonna get the bigger house because they said that's not right. That the houses, the sizes of the house. But I'm gonna get you a nice house. I'm gonna see you 3 days out the week. But the other ladies, I'm gonna see them 2 days out the week. We're all, this is like a marriage. Okay, I'm not gonna step outside of this union.
Huh?
Would
No.
you be able to deal with that? Now, this is life-changing scenarios. You're not working. You don't have to worry about anything. The bills, everything is taken care of.
No. I think personally speaking, I'm not that kind of person. But here's what I can understand because I have friends in this and it works for them. And I do understand it because I see it and I see how it works. So a guy in a polygamous relationship, providing the same for all his wives, and they all know that there's other wives and they work together communally. So I mean, taking care, one hand wash or multiple hands wash the other, and all hands wash the face.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Can't do it. Can't do it.
Yeah,
Okay,
Barbara, I see the Jamaican come on.
I will say though, in that example, I think
you think
having children, it all works together. But once the children come in, you can't help that things are going to change because this woman is pregnant first and she's going to receive more attention, more whatever, versus the woman who when they don't have children. So I don't know how long that can last. I've seen it, but
okay, so what if we all lived in the same house? We all lived in the same house.
Lord
right?
Jesus.
That's drama, Karan. That's automatic
Hey,
trouble,
Yo,
brother.
what is
What
that
you
dude that's
talking
famous
about?
for doing this polygamy thing? I think his brother Polite,
Yeah.
whatever,
Oh,
the scammer
yes.
or whatever he is. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Now
I
brother
don't want to
Polite's
give him.
crazy.
I don't want to even give him no airtime. Honestly though, I wanted to debate him on this whole monogamy versus polygamy thing. I did, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
But Karan, in your scenario, right? You're trying to like say to the ladies, like, this is a good dude, right? He's a good man. He will provide, protect, and all of that, right?
Yeah.
So my question then is a good man solely defined by his sexual deviancies?
You said, is he defined by his sexual
Right. Okay.
deviancy?
So like, if he cheats, is he no longer a good man?
Well,
Because it
B
seems
Simone
like
said
everything.
that you can't be a good man if you don't treat your wife right. So she said, yeah.
Exactly.
She said Martin
Of
Luther King is
course.
not a good man, which in a way, I don't know if that should be a whole nother topic
How
because
can you say? This is
Writing
what I'm
that down.
saying.
Jay-Z said,
This is
Jay-Z
what I'm
said,
saying. It's
Okay,
like,
I'm gonna
yo,
say that.
everything relies on if a man cheats or
I'm gonna
not.
say
Like,
this. I'm gonna say this. There's different roles that a man plays in
dude,
society. There's different roles that a man plays in society. So you have like the passive role where he belongs to society and he's like, a community activist. He helps people. But in relationships, he might not be a good man. And what is so wrong with acknowledging that Martin Luther King was allegedly a womanizer as far as the Department of Love and Relationships is concerned? Both can coexist. Both things
Yeah.
can coexist. Human
Okay,
beings
but
are complex.
being a
She answered it for me. That's what I
womanizer,
was
does
gonna
that
say.
automatically say that he ain't ish?
In relationships,
Yes. Relationship standpoint.
he ain't shush.
He's not the right guy.
In a
He's not,
relationship
he's
sense.
not sure.
He's not the right guy for you. Because the right guy is monogamous or wants monogamy.
Based on the expectations that were allotted in the beginning. Because remember, like, to cheat
Yes.
means you are deceiving, you are
Right.
lying, you are omitting, right? So
Yes.
these are characteristics that betray
Hold on.
the
Can I
that
ask
standard.
Mr. Stewart a question?
Go
Yeah.
ahead, Dante. Oh, he's been chilling for a while. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
because I'm.
I've been driving my fault, but I could talk. Go ahead.
What like in the realm of love, right? What does cheating mean to a man?
I can't. In the realm of love, what
He's the
does
wrong guy to ask that question. He
That's a tough question, but
No, that's a
I would.
great question, man.
I can't put cheating and love in the same category because if you cheating, you can't love the person and cheat at the same time. But then you have some people who honestly believe just because they cheat doesn't mean they don't love the person. So it could go either way. But me, I can't put cheating and love in the
But the
same.
reason I ask Stuart is because Launch Pro just defined the duality of a man's nature, right? He
Yeah.
can both be a great leader and an ain't-ish man. Can he also be a cheater and still love his wife?
Damn.
That's tough.
That is tough.
That
I'm
does
gonna
exist.
be honest with you.
There's no right or wrong answer.
I'm gonna answer this from a woman's perspective, right? Cheating causes emotional scarring on a woman, especially when it's predefined that, hey, I'm not for that. So if I put it out on the line and I forgive you, and then you cheat again, because you said cheating, which is something that's like consistent, it implies that this is a consistent action, right?
Right.
So my thing is, right, how can you claim that you love me if you are consistently emotionally scarring me?
But then that's to say
There's
that
no
cheating
difference.
is not about you. Once again,
But
let me
okay,
clarify
but
because
cheating
I'm not
isn't
pro
about, okay, I'm
cheating.
gonna be honest with you.
What?
Like somebody that's addicted to drugs, right? Their drug addiction is not necessarily about their family, but the ramifications that their family experiences from the person's actions, they matter.
But does a
They
drug
matter.
addict love his family? I'm
No,
once again, I'm not pro
Drug
I'm
addicts do
not
not love their family.
pro addiction. I'm not pro cheating. I'm not trying to make a case that these things should be okayed. What I'm simply saying is that we are all able to recognize dualities of human nature, which does exist, which
Yeah,
you
for sure.
also did point out. And
Yeah.
I've never been pro cheating. I've met a guy who takes phenomenal care of his wife. Phenomenal. If you didn't know what he does on the side, you would all of us here would agree this man is in love with his wife. Yet and still, he has 22-year-old hot little thing that he sees every now and then. And that kind of, because I was looking at him like, yo, he was like an inspiration. Like, that's the kind of man I wanted to be. Takes his wife on trips, and then I found out he had that on us. I'm like, damn, bro, you too?
Because he may love his wife, but he loves what doing much more than her.
He loves himself more than her.
Yeah.
Like, my whole thing is, when you're in a relationship, there's a selfless nature to it. Of course, you're gonna love yourself. You have to love yourself, right? But when it's like a selfish pursuit in which you are denying someone else the freedom to make a choice,
that's the key,
as to whether or not they want to sustain that type of relationship or not, then now you are operating not from love, but from utter selfishness and self-absorption. And that doesn't have any place in a marriage. It doesn't have any place in a healthy relationship, which is the foundation of a marriage.
That's a very, very good point. Oh, I gotta marinate. I'm going on mute.
It's your word. Like once you tell a woman as a man, right? you know, that you're going to be committed to her.
Hold on, I
You're
heard
going to make.
gunshots.
No, that wasn't gunshots. Sorry, he
Oh,
dropped out. But if
oh,
you
I was like, yeah,
if you
everybody okay?
yeah, we good. If you tell a woman, right, that you're committed to her, and or you marry her, you do your vows, death do us part, all that good stuff, right? For you to go outside of that and find another woman, because like we're not talking about Neo and these guys that have women throwing at them. We're talking about a regular guy who cheated, for either he's just promiscuous or he was trying to establish that connection. And my book that I'm writing, I'm going to dispel a lot of the nonsense and the petty excuses that men make when they cheat. Um, so yeah, I lost my train of thought. I was going to say
Oh,
something
I
about
got you, Launch Pro. I'm sorry, Karan. Go
damn,
ahead, Karan.
damn. I was going somewhere, but okay. So I'm gonna pick it back up, right? So if a man, right, goes out of his way to cheat on his woman, an argument could be made that he doesn't love his woman, or he's falling out of love with his woman, or there's some sort of disconnect with his woman, because that's not something that do every day I'm faithful, monogamous, and now on this one day I decided to just step out. That's where it becomes a little complicated for me, because I understand that love is a set of emotions and people aren't perfect, but at the same time, our value system, we have a system, a moral system of values. When we talk about marriage and relationship, of commitment, and that lack of loyalty, that dishonesty, those two things right there, I feel like that's a part of love. And to violate on that level, it's hard for me. It's really hard for me. I don't think I could go on the extreme and say it's not love, but at the same time, it just doesn't look like what love should be. You got a little echo. Somebody got everybody mute their mic. I'm about to mute mic. So it's not Dante. Kimmy, it might be you. I think it's Kimmy.
They came next to me.
As soon as Dante muted, it ended. It's not me.
Okay, it's not Kimmy. Okay, all right.
No.
Yeah, I think it might be Dante. But yeah, so yeah, Neek, like Launch was saying, and I agree with her. Definitely that, it's not a good look. It's hard for me to say that you still love her because of that selfishness.
I got a question for Launch.
It's a major disconnect. Go ahead.
All right, so your significant other, I'm not gonna just call him Karan for argument's sake.
Mhm.
If you notice, right, because I believe you guys are really in tune, just how you guys interact with one another. If you notice that your significant other has developed a struggle, so to speak, of attraction towards you, right? Let's say you notice wandering eyes. It's still performing. This man is still doing everything, committed, da da da. But you notice the attraction. Something is slipping. Something ain't right. How would you rectify that?
That's the end of your question?
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Okay. I believe in communication.
Mm-hmm.
So it will be a conversation had. I've had conversations. I believe in the uncomfortable conversation. I embrace them.
Okay.
And I don't care what is said, really. I open myself to the possibility of my feelings being smashed to the ground.
Ooh.
He opens up himself to his feelings possibly being smashed to the ground. That's what you call uncomfortable conversations, because at the end of the day, it's about transparency and honesty.
Right.
A lot of people do not like to have uncomfortable conversations, so they're not able to effectively address what the issues are that might be causing the wandering eyes, or that might be causing the man to crawl into bed at 4 a.m. when y'all said goodnight at 10. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So that's really how
So the
I would
difference.
address the situation.
So the difference in your estimation is that a lot, like the majority of people, are not necessarily having the uncomfortable conversations, right?
No,
Absolutely,
So,
they're not.
absolutely not.
so then does that make either the man or the woman a bad person for exercising the only option they thought they could exercise because they were trying to, let's say, spare feelings? That's also been an excuse, or things around that nature.
I
Does
feel
that
it's
mean, huh?
Go
does
ahead.
that mean that they're a bad person?
That's what I'm saying, because that doesn't mean that there's no love. People get divorced, never mention love. Everybody is all stuff, but they never bring up love, because it's not an issue about love. It's about money. It's about finance. It's about frustration, lack of communication, as you mentioned earlier. There's love. There's still, because they still get mad. To get that mad, you had to have loved somebody. Mean you had to invest it in somebody,
Right.
because you're mad at them.
But I mean, love is a set of emotions based on a certain balance. So if the negativity outweighs the positivity, an argument could be made is that's no
That's
longer
not
love.
love. That's
That
not love.
But it's the same coin, brother. Come on,
because love can be the
you've been.
opposite of love is care and concern. The opposite
The
of love
opposite
is
of love
not
is
caring.
indifference. That's the opposite. Not hate.
Yeah,
Hate and
not
love
caring,
on the
right?
same coin. The opposite of love is indifference.
Yeah,
If this is
not
a
caring.
woman you loved before and you meet her again, and she, I mean, nothing. You try to bring up old stuff, try to reminisce, nothing. It's done.
Yeah, it's done.
But if a woman you had in the past, and you thought, and that she's anger, oh, there's a flame there still.
Yeah.
I don't know. Depends on what that anger is about. I mean, if that
Bro,
anger
there's
is
a
about
flame
you
there
slept with her,
still.
you slept with her cousin, I don't know
And
if there's no
that
flame
that
there.
that has nothing to do with how she feels about her connection to you. It
I
has
mean, I'm
I don't
gonna
nothing.
know
be
about
honest
that.
with you. I subscribe to that. I subscribe to any woman who is exhibiting a lot of hostility or anger towards an ex or a baby daddy. They still have
Yep.
feelings. I subscribe to that 100% because I just know the chemistry of a woman's mind. Like, I'm a woman myself, so
The
like,
OG told me he
But when
got
you say
upset with his
feelings,
girl for being angry at her ex. He got upset with her. He's like, yo, you still got there's something still there.
but when you say feelings, like remember, love is a set of emotions, but feelings are feelings. So when you say you still got feelings, if those feelings are anger, resentment, all the negative feelings not associated with, I'm thinking
It's
about
on
this
the
person.
same coin,
yeah,
I,
but
Kareem.
there's the
It's
but
on
the
the
behind
same
that,
coin.
behind that though. But just to address it, but
because
behind the
feelings doesn't
anger,
mean love. That's all I was
but
trying to say.
behind the anger though, in those situations, could be the sentiment of love. Because I'm gonna tell you straight up, there's people that I literally am indifferent about. They're not in
Yep.
my life today, and I'm completely indifferent. So there
Whether they
is no
live, they
me
die, nothing.
arguing or yelling or cursing or calling them this, that, and the third. Because behind that, there is no love lost, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm just speaking from my perspective, and also
I
just.
agree with you, Launch. I agree 100%, man. Like
But as
it,
far
like
as, but just to answer the question that you did have, like, is somebody a bad person for having wandering eyes? I don't necessarily think that someone is a bad person for having wandering eyes.
no, I'm talking about the cheating part. Because I'm saying, like, you and Karan and Kimmy and Sherry,
Kimmy
myself,
said good night,
and
by the way, guys. She had to sign off.
okay,
Good night, Kimmy. But go ahead.
Good night, Kimmy.
and Dante. I feel like we can express that. We are mature. We are equipped enough to have the uncomfortable conversations Launch Pro alluded to. A lot of people don't.
Yeah.
and their relationships suffer for all the wrong reasons.
Right. I agree.
And that I don't necessarily think that should be a determining factor, especially if there is still love, because they are hostile. You know what I'm saying? Like the anger, you can see that the person is mad at you so because they loved you that deeply.
Right.
Because that's the only way. You have to invest so much in the person.
Yeah,
Love.
but you said love that with the ED. They don't love you anymore.
No, I mean they dude. You can't get angry if you don't love the person. There's nothing there to get upset about.
I can get angry if I despise you. What are you talking about? Like, come on. Now you guys are being philosophical. I don't want to
but
go
if you
there.
despise somebody for their philosophy, it's a philosophy. Your philosophy that they're opposing is what you love, that you cultivated, that you cared for. If their philosophy is opposing that and threatens to destroy that, that's where the hostility is coming from.
I mean, that's a nice way to put it. The truth is,
That's a factual way.
The truth is, you slept with my cousin, and now every
Okay, we're
time I
going back to the cheating now. Okay, let's go there then.
Every time I see you, you make me sick.
Because right, but this is somebody you love though.
No, fam, no, not necessarily.
But there's feelings still there, bro. Listen, if somebody cheated on you with a family member, and
first of all, I don't believe that love just like evaporates overnight.
It don't.
It doesn't.
Cannot.
I don't know. I
agree
really
with that.
Don't,
I don't feel like that
think that love evaporates overnight. So, but what will override that?
I normally do. Yeah.
What will override that is the action, the offense, and the emotional reaction to that offense, the anger reaction to that offense will override the dissipation of love over time. Like, because
you may never go back.
Yeah, you'll never go back.
But the fact that person could change your temperature means there's still a connection there, man. That's what I'm like. It when somebody's
but that doesn't mean that I love them like that.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, you know what? There's a connection. Maybe love is too strong for those type of situations, meaning you will never go back. But I'm saying that person still has enough of a hook in you that they could make you upset. Nobody should ever be able to make you upset like that.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. If you're co-parenting and you were with somebody and they do something as it relates to your child that's just like it behooves you, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna express anger about that action. Does it necessarily mean that you love the co-parent?
No, I agree with that. I just reiterate. I mean, I just edited my original statement to like have a connection,
an emotional connection, or even have an emotional connection that's even worth like. I mean, an emotional connection. I feel like that's adding sauce. That's adding sauce.
That's
what I mean. There is a connection that because the connection is the child. You know what I'm saying? The connection, when y'all had the child, it was not created in hostility. I mean, sometimes you don't
know that, sir.
Yeah, right. I'm just saying. Let me, put my little, disclaimer.
Sometimes the baby is the wedge that actually broke you apart.
It could, right, and then there's hostility from that. There's emotions from that, right? Because one party just wanted fun, another party was like, well, now I have a baby. This means a lot more than you just having fun. And then the hostility develops from that, right? So when somebody, and I've noticed this about myself, especially if you have ever entered the field of corporate America, it ain't business, really. It's politics. It's more and they're always looking for a way to get into. They learn your philosophy and they try to pick it apart at the worst possible time to make you look weak, to circumvent you, to undermine you, to make you look like a problem. You're not a team player, and then you have to combat. So you understand when somebody has hooks in you because they're attacking your trajectory, your plans, your goals, things that you love. You love the business. You fell in love with the idea of becoming the corner office guy or whatever the case, and somebody's attacking what you love. That's how they get you emotional. Sports realm. You play basketball, Koron. Shit talk. It don't even got to be the best basketball player on the court. If he could talk a good game and get in your head, you forget everything that you trained for.
That's
That's
true.
happened to me. That's happened to everybody I've ever come across who's ever entered, whoever stepped on a basketball court, till we learn how to protect ourselves against it. But it's definitely people trying to figure you out how to get a hook in you to tear you down, to manipulate you. So maybe, yeah, love might be one hook. Maybe it might be your philosophy, your career, your whatever the case may be. But we allow people to put hooks in us, and we are the same people who could take them out.
Right.
So that's what I mean when it comes to the cheating thing. And yeah, in that realm, yeah, cheating, listen, it stemmed from love. It originated like, yo, I loved you, and then you betrayed me in this way.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm upset that I loved you, and I allowed you to betray me. And every time
Boys, I don't love you no more. I had to let that love go.
But that's a process. That's a healing process.
It
You
is
got
a
to be able to
process.
remove that hook.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that doesn't happen. And that part doesn't happen overnight.
It don't.
But overall, like as far as the character of someone and whether they're good or bad for cheating, again, it's cheating as a definition is betraying, circumventing an equal playing field. That's what cheating is.
Yeah.
So
it's BS because you have to bring someone into your sick desire.
The sick desire. Yo, Koron. Yo, you talking about Ahmad and sauce. Koron be throwing adjectives on top of adjectives.
Yo, if you haven't caught by now, I don't like cheaters. That's why my first book.
I think
he
it's been Crystal, sir.
does not.
It's been absolutely Crystal, sir.
Because I listen, man. I go for what I want in life. I don't have to sneak and hide.
Trust me, sir. I'm on the same page with you. I'm not advocating for. I just want that known. I am advocating for the human experience of being a man or a woman. That's what I'm advocating for.
This is the wind down. This is the wind. So yeah. So look, you can have that human experience, but just don't drag nobody else into it.
But that's impossible. We all use each other. If we being honest, we all use each other, bro. We all
but at some point,
in good ways and bad ways.
But in a relationship though, it shouldn't be a negative.
I agree. I agree.
That shouldn't be. So like, to be honest, I feel like we have to hold people accountable, and there are labels, there are labels for certain things so that we don't have this trauma response. We do label things so that we can avoid them. So cheaters, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you disrupted
the words associated is lying, deception, betrayal. We have labels to avoid dealing with those. Yeah, dealing with that. You know what I'm saying? So as far as just like if you are a bad person or not, I'm not gonna say that someone who cheats on their husband or their wife is inherently a bad person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna sit up there and say that. Absolutely not, because that person might also, run food banks to help the poor in their
Martin
community.
Luther King, Nelson Mandela.
The inherently a bad person. I mean, we could look at that's ain't my fault,
subjective. But
it is subjective. But then we could also
not a real
at the end of the day, all of us have these like.
Everyone does good. Everyone does bad, quote unquote, bad or good.
Yeah, like that whole aspect of like
there's
good
no
and
such
bad.
thing as innocence. There, right, Koron?
Depends on how you define it.
Innocence is naivety.
There we go.
Yeah, it depends on how you define it. But yeah, this is the wind down. We wind it down. So
it's too late. I got 3 hours, bro. I'm happy with my 3 hours.
I do want to ask Nick, how do you feel about polygamy now? I'm not sure if you consider yourself a high value man now, or you're working your way towards it. Either way, it doesn't matter. If you had the means to take care of multiple women, would you want to have a polygamous marriage?
Nah, it's just not.
I would say no.
Yeah, I kind of got that from Dante because your earlier answer before Nick even came on. Dante's my kind of guy, man. And there's a lot of guys, ladies. There's a lot of guys like Dante out there. Don't get it twisted.
I'm gonna try to
Listen,
win Dante
we need
over.
to do like a virtual
What you
dating kind
mean?
of thing.
I'm gonna try
We
to
need
win Dante over to the dark side.
we need to do online mixers, Karan.
Yeah, I'm writing that down. To my list of my
So that
overflowing.
so that women realize that there are men like Dante, there are men like Neek who want, like
No,
long-term
no, not
relationships.
Nick. Nick is not the example. No.
Oh,
Nick wants.
come on, Karan. I'm
I'm
a
joking.
good dude. I'm a
But
good
he
guy.
joking,
Nah,
You know
Nick
what
is
I'm
the
saying?
example.
You got to get around the prickly side.
But Nick, so you don't want polygamy, or you do?
No, I'm not. Whether it's right or wrong, I think polygamy, everybody understands what's going on, so they join it. They're adults, they do it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not a polygamy. I'm not an ambassador for polygamy, man.
So what
I
is
like
your ultimate
one-on-one
relationship? Oh, so you want to? So your ultimate goal is one-on-one?
marriage. Marriage is my ultimate goal, man. I want a wife. I want kids. I want the picket fence. Hopefully, a brick fence. If I, I want a gated community. A little swing set in the back.
So yeah, so we not
Hopefully, a
rocking that.
Rolls. You know what I mean? A
So
Rolls with a car seat.
it does seem like polygamy is in the minority. People want monogamy. Okay. So final words. Let's close out. And everybody on the panel. We can start off with Sherry. You got anything you would like to say? Final words.
He's trying to keep it under 4 hours.
No, it is final. There is no polygamy for me. Polygamy is cool for people who are on the same page about it. That's great for them and what they go for. Don't be trying to get my brother on your side, Nick, because I don't know.
Sherry, but what if you had like 4 buff Tyrese dudes, right? You could marry all 4 of them.
I'm not.
And they would be
Listen,
faithful
I'm
to
not.
you.
I'm not one of
all
those
for
girls.
you.
I don't really care about I'm over how you look now.
Okay, what if they
You gotta still
were
be cute.
entrepreneurs? You know how much you like entrepreneurs?
Well, entrepreneurship is cool, but I hope that that's within the person that I'm trying to talk to, be with.
Mm-hmm.
Entrepreneurship, you can't be ugly, but have some look about you, that you want to build to, you want to create some legacy, so that takes ambition, all of those other things. That's great. But when it comes
Fantastic answer, Sherry. It's a fantastic answer.
I would, hey. But yeah, when it comes to polygamy and other souls involved and stuff, I'm not trying to have no triangle soul tie or rectangle soul tie. Whatever.
Triangle soul tie.
I don't want nothing. I'm good with me and my person and our family.
Yeah, it's too much. What about you, Dante? Any last words?
I would have to say this has been a great podcast. Last words for me. High value shouldn't always just be about money. High value should also be about character traits and the way you lead your household and the way you treat your significant other. If it's just about money, then next year you could be broke. So I wouldn't just say always put high value where you put materialistic things, because core values to me mean a lot more than that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree anymore, man. Dante sounds like a good dude with his head on straight. I salute Dante. Neat,
the
man.
subs are phenomenal, bro.
What?
Yeah, the subliminals. Anyway.
No, ain't no subliminals. Not especially if you think it's towards you. I'm just saying I like.
Okay, Neek, if you want a polygamy
like the way.
relationship, speak up.
No, Neek is cool too, man. Neek don't want that. Neek wants one more.
Trying to put me on the polygamy train.
No, he's not on the polygamy train, man. I'm just
That's
saying,
too much, man.
because I heard what Dante was saying. I heard what Dante was saying earlier. Even the other brother.
What was he saying earlier? I missed it. What was the bullet points?
I can't give you that, man. You guys, we're gonna set this debate up, man. But he kind of put a hole in what you're gonna say on the debate.
As far as the monogamy,
yeah.
Damn, I gotta come for Dante too. I just met this dude, man.
No, not Dante. It wasn't Dante. It was the other brother. What's his name? I can't remember his name.
My brother Holton.
Yeah, Holton. Yeah, he was the one.
Stewart?
Huh?
Weren't they both Stewart last name?
Yeah, that's my brothers.
Yeah.
Oh, those are your brothers?
That's our brothers. Yeah.
Yes.
Yo, I have
Dante.
mad
I
questions.
see Sherry in Dante's face.
Yeah. They look like
vice versa. Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope. Got the
Go ahead,
family
Nick.
boy.
Let's close out, man. What you guys say, man? Let's Where we at today?
About polygamy? Nah,
Whatever you want to say. High value man, whatever you want to say, man.
but a high value man conversation is very important, I think, because we need to build back our community with a network. And I think high value men and women should definitely pull together, because I think the definition of high value suggests that those individuals have certain skill sets that is essential for repair and for also not only repair but selection, because I mean we're not permanent. We got to be able to select the next generation who's going to replace us, and we have a culture of not giving back, and I think high value individuals understand the importance of giving back. So I think we need to be like Dante said, we need to pull away from just labeling high value as monetary and also focus on skill sets and the connections and the networks we build and our influence and impact. But still looking bleak out there, Koron. Still looking bleak, brother.
Ah, man, I just gave you the hand clap, man.
I know. I set you
Man.
up. I fed you. I set you up. You know, I had to come for it.
Okay, but at least this is a yes or no. Should we give high value man the ability to cheat? Should we just allow them to cheat? They could do whatever they want. Yes
Bro,
or no?
it's you see, I hate when you pose it that way, bro, because that's not what I believe in, bro. I'm not saying they need a pass to cheat. I'm saying that
No, but that's the question. Should they get a pass to cheat because they pay all the bills, they do everything?
See, but that's not. Oh, I hate that.
Yes or no. This is for the sound bite.
I don't think that they should. I don't think they should get a pass, and it should be okay. I don't think cheating in general should be okay.
There you go.
High value, low value.
That's all I needed. That's all I needed.
Saying they're going to because they can.
No, we know that. Kevin Samuels, you missed the Kevin Samuels clip part. It was crazy. You got to rewind that.
Yeah, I've listened to a lot of this stuff, man. I've listened to. Hold on, I'm about to trigger some people. I've listened to his gospel.
Okay. No.
No, I hear it. Earlier in the show, he played a clip.
Yeah, I played a direct clip
about him talking about high value and why high value men cheat. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen it outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So yeah. All right,
I thought it was going to be a crazy one, but it made sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Lashpo, go ahead.
You disagree?
I disagree with any man cheating because
I'm saying, but what Kevin Samuel was positing, did you disagree?
I think that he was right that a lot of men who have that certain status do cheat.
Right.
But when he says that all men cheat, and he also said monogamy is not natural.
But it's not. Dude, Home Depot dude want to cheat just as much as Tiger Woods, bro.
No, he did. In a different
all men cheat?
Yes, he said that.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay.
Yeah, no. He said all men want to. Most men cannot.
No. He said because they always will entertain their options. So high value men have more options.
Of course.
So they have the more willingness to do it. But all men. So even if the guy at Walmart, under his theory, if the guy at Walmart transitions to become a high value man, then that guy deserves to cheat.
Okay, Koron, you haven't always been Koron, right? You started off at menial jobs, right?
Yeah.
What would you say would be the realm of that? Like Home Depot, Eckerd, like what menial jobs or career? Well, I can't even see career, just jobs when you were coming up did you have?
Yeah, I worked in the warehouse, stuff like that.
Okay, so the dudes in the warehouse, the conversations around women, did it sound like what you're talking about, or did it sound more like what Kevin and I am saying?
Well, I do understand that you have a population of men who cheat, but what I'm saying is the idea that all men cheat is false. It's not true.
I'm not saying all men, and I really don't.
That's what he said, though. I'm calling.
I know, because sometimes like you got to watch a lot of his stuff to really see, because he'll go back and forth sometimes. He will say all men cheat, but then he'll be like all men have the ability or want to cheat. Majority of the time he usually uses the word want. All men would.
He was absolute, and when he said monogamy is not natural, I heard him say. I did a video responding.
Okay.
And then he said,
I'll
and
go
then
back
that
and
same,
watch it. I'll go back and watch.
in that
I
same
feel like
video,
with him though, you have to like watch multiple episodes because he does play like a seesaw. Like
Yeah, he does do that.
sometimes he said,
he needs to be clear in what he's saying, because you can watch my
He
video.
is very
I am
clear, bro.
Well, if
exactly
you're
so,
seesawing, you're not clear.
Say it
right.
again.
If you see
If you're
something, you're not
seesawing, you're
clear.
not clear.
I think
No,
I'm
I'm
that
saying
you
I'm
like
a
could get
very
like
black
a
and white person.
like okay,
So
yeah,
just like
but
you know
no
how
human
somebody
is
could just
black
take
and
a
white.
sound bite. Go ahead, sorry.
that ain't true because I am.
Oh,
Hmm.
cool.
There you
Launch
go.
No, I
Pro,
swear to
Launch
God. No, you don't
Pro.
understand. You don't
Launch Pro, I'm
understand.
on your side, Launch Pro, man. Let's
No,
not
Nick,
Launch
you really don't
Pro.
get
I'm Team
the
Launch Pro.
levels of ET that I
Don't let me
feel
agree with
sometimes in this
Karan. I don't want to
world.
agree with
We
Karan.
gonna this is the wind down. We're gonna get back to Lodge. Let's close out.
Your Launch Pro. Oh my god, I
What
gotta
you got
get
to say,
Launch
Lodge?
Pro.
As far as like high value men being allowed to cheat, I'm gonna just say
Yeah.
this. I just think that women need to wise up and realize and accept the fact that if you are dealing with a man who by definition hits the prongs of what a high value man is, he is going to cheat. The propensity for him
What?
to cheat is there. So
Wait,
therefore,
Yes.
stay away. Like that's
you
my
said wait,
philosophy.
whoa. You saying that all high value men cheat?
I'm not
Yo,
gonna
you
say
see
that.
how he words
Well,
it?
see, here's the thing.
Because that's what you
Karan,
just
Karan,
said.
that's not what I
Yo, you
said.
see how
Actually,
he
I did not say
words
that.
it? Yo,
See,
Karan, you slick,
I'm
bro.
somebody that says what I mean. I did not say all high value men cheat. What I said was that I feel as though women need to accept the fact, right, that if they are going after men who hit all the prongs of what is defined as a high value man, the propensity is there that he will cheat. I'm not saying all men, I just feel as though women need to accept the fact that when they're with a celebrity, for example, you know what I'm saying? He's probably going to step out. He might step out. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? The
Yeah, I agree with that.
probability is there.
It's
So
higher.
therefore, think about redefining your expectations. Do you really want a high value man based on the definition of what a high value man is? No, because I don't understand how these women sit up here and go on social media crying, you understand, and putting their relationship on blast like Crystal. No disrespect, mama, but you knew what you were getting yourself into. It's Neo. You know what I'm saying? So why are you on social media talking about how he betrayed you and he cheated and X, Y, and Z? And you see this play out over and over and over again. I mean, Jay-Z, you know, with his face cheated on Beyonce. So my whole thing is, you know, at the end of the day, we have to just acknowledge
With his face.
the field. That's what I'm saying. So that's my sentiments on high value men. And as far as like how I feel about polygamy, I am not for it, and that's just that.
That's just that.
That's right, Karan.
Well,
I love that's just that.
I want to thank.
That's right, Karan.
I want to thank.
Like
I want to thank everyone. I want to thank the executive producer, Launch Pro, for making the show a show. I want to
Launch
thank.
Pro and only Launch Pro.
Yeah, Launch Pro. Yeah, that's a fact. It's a big fact.
By his choice.
That's a fact. I want to
got
thank.
him on no leash.
I want to thank
Launch Pro. Yo, the humility is magnificent.
I want to thank everybody on the panel: Neek, Sherry, Dante, all the other people that was on, Kemi, Sherry's other brother, I can't remember his name. Yeah, we had a full show. We had a
Yo, facts. I hope we get some more people in next week. I'll be posting this posting this show like
yeah, we working, man. Today we had some technical difficulties. I think that's what kind of killed it in the beginning. My sound was off, but it's all right.
This was great though. This was great. We had
we finished strong.
8 people on the panel today, so we did
Yeah,
good.
we finished strong, and hopefully next week we already got a topic. We're gonna be talking about domestic violence. We got an advocate that's supposed to be on.
Oh
hopefully,
boy. Oh my God, Sherry and Dante look exactly alike. Oh my God.
Yeah, they do.
But
James Strong.
hopefully, we get her on. She wants to come on to talk about her experience. So we're gonna be talking about domestic violence.
Yeah, next week's show is gonna be intense.
It's gonna be rough.
if I get some time, I'm gonna talk to Neek about this debate. We'll have a debate date, and that's gonna be a great debate.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't wait to see where you pulling these sources from.
you're done, man. You're in the frying pan. You don't realize it. I do want to say though about the high
Dude,
value man. The high value
dude,
man.
ah,
We're gonna talk about the high value man. So, I did a little Kevin Samuels. If you missed the episode, you tuned in late, you gotta go back. I talked about Kevin Samuels' definition of the high value man. And what I find it to be is I think that it's great for a woman who's interested in hypergamy. She wants to elevate her lifestyle. If it's your goal to have it's either you're gonna play the lotto and win, hopefully you hit them numbers, or you happen to get into Russell Westbrook's hotel room, and he just so happens to choose to marry you, right? And that'll be your way out. So to the woman that's looking for the lottery ticket, the baby daddy who's rich that's going to pay multiple thousands a month in child support, right? To those women, be prepared when you're going after those high value men that you're not going to be the only one. Who knows how long he'll keep you, right? Because Neo left his previous wife on the altar, like on the way to the altar, and had her get her tubes tied, and then told her, "Well, I don't want to be monogamous. I want to go back to living my life." So that's the dangers to dealing with a so-called high value man. On my channel, if you watch my content, I always talk about finding that right guy, and I give two categories to men or guys. I say the right guy versus the wrong guy. I always talk about that, and you need to find that right guy for you that marks your standards are right. Now, I'm not saying you have to find necessarily a broke guy, but what I am saying is if you are going to be dealing with that guy on that high value level, you need to be wary about the things that Launch Pro presented, right? As far as polygamy, uh, team monogamy wins all the time. People want monogamy. It's no secret. It's not a. I don't mean see secret, but it's no surprise that monogamy is sort of taking over the world. It's because monogamy gives us a great chance for one thing in reproducing, because you have multiple men who are have the ability to compete for women to procreate with, versus in societies or systems where you have one man with multiple women, you tend to get less population, right? And for some reason, yes, I understand we have religion and things of that nature, yeah, that push monogamy, but at the same time, it's not by chance as to why monogamy is in the lead. Because even when you look at a lot of these polygamous countries, a lot of the people in those polygamous countries are monogamous, because polygamy has always been about wealth and class, having the ability to be able to take care of multiple women, right? You see that in a lot of Eastern religions. So yeah, men are allowed. I mean, Eastern societies with, of course, Eastern religion and customs, but it's based on the man's ability to take care of and provide for these wives. So it's not just like an American thing where we're like, oh yeah, we can't just be with one woman, right? We need to have multiple women. No, it's you have to be able to take care of all of these women, provide a lifestyle for all of these women, right? So I think that if a man can't take care of all of these women, he has no business talking about polygamy. That's one thing. And a lot of the women on the panel tonight, they felt like polygamy was just not a good choice.
that is
And
correct. Honey.
yes, 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 and it just confirms, a lot of the data I've seen on Americans' attitudes towards polygamy, and it won't work, especially in America, because you won't have a legal system backing you. If one woman is married to the man legally, from a legal standpoint, that's his wife. She'll have access to all of the goods and all of the things, right? So, oh, Trav always with the last minute comments. Stop being. I think he said the same thing last week. Stop being a whoremonger, Neat. But salute to Trav. And that's all. Once again, thanks to everybody joining the show. It's been a great show. Next week, we might be coming back with domestic violence, hopefully. If not, we'll have another great topic. Have a great night, guys.
Have a good one. Thanks.
Good night.
God bless.
Good night.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.